business premises in the northwest. The SAPS has just released a statement indicating they have now seized digital devices from Mokgotsi, which they have been seeking since that raid last month. Alpha Ramushwana has more.
Northwest businessman Brown Mokgotsi alleges that gunmen in a white bakkie opened fire on him while he was driving a red Chevrolet Aveo in Vosloorus on Monday. Police recovered 11 shell casings at the scene, but say Mokgotsi initially declined to give a statement about the incident. He then agreed to present himself at the Vosloorus police station before 8 o'clock in the morning yesterday, but never showed up. EWN has now learned that Mokgotsi, together with his lawyers, are currently with police and is now providing information about the alleged attempted hit. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
The suspect arrested in connection with the mass drive-by shooting in Reiche Park, Boksburg at the weekend has been released due to insufficient evidence. The 23-year-old was drive-by shooting in Reiche Park, Boksburg at the weekend has been released due to insufficient evidence. The 23-year-old was nabbed on Monday evening following investigations conducted by the anti-gang unit. The arrest came a few days after a shooting which left 6 people dead and 3 injured in the Ekurhuleni township. Gauteng police spokesperson Dimakatso Nevuhului says investigations are continuing into this case.
The docket was not placed on the court roll due to insufficient evidence, but the investigations on this matter still continue. And today, on the 5th of November 2025, an 18-year-old was brought in for questioning on the matter.
Let's move to Parliament now, where Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia says the disbanding of the Political Killings Task Team made no sense, especially with the local government elections on the horizon. He says the problem goes deeper than just the killing of politicians and says he's gravely concerned by assassinations of whistleblowers. Kachalia has been responding to questions before Parliament's ad hoc committee, which is investigating allegations of police corruption. Babalondenze reports.
Acting Minister Feroz Kachalia says the timing of the disbandment of the PKTT made no sense, considering the high levels of organized crime. He says there have been a number of whistleblowers who have been murdered over the years, and their killings point towards deepening corruption.
I couldn't understand exactly what the reasons were for the disbandment of the task team. It seemed to me that the problem of let's call them political killings, was an ongoing one, that in the run-up to the local government elections, it was likely to deepen.
He says a national solution is required, especially around the protection of whistleblowers.
So I think the problem is a deeper one now, and we certainly need, on a national basis, to respond to this problem of the involvement of cartels.
Kachalia told the committee that cartels are now corrupting systems of procurement in the health sector, and this also needs to be addressed. Babalondense, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
We'll shift our focus to this now. The South African Municipal Workers Union has dismissed criticism that it's trying to bankrupt the Tshwane municipality. It comes after the city was ordered by the SA Local Government Bargaining Council to implement a 3.5% salary hike for all its employees. The order comes with backdated pay stretching from the 2021-2022 financial year. The municipality had approached the council seeking a deviation from the increase due to unaffordability, but its arguments were dismissed. Thabiso Koba has more.
In 2020, the Tshwane municipality entered into a 3-year salary agreement with worker unions representing the city's employees. Then in 2022, the municipality approached the bargaining council seeking a deviation from the agreement, citing financial difficulties. After 3 years of litigation, the municipality has been ordered to find the money. The DA and Freedom Front Plus say this spells a financial disaster for the capital city. However, SAMU's Regional Secretary Donald Monakesi says the municipality has a responsibility to abide with its signed agreements.
The DA presided over this crisis of financial difficulty by the city. They've been running the city from 2016. If they implemented the increase at that particular time, we will not be here.
Monakesi says the back pay due to workers is likely close to 2 billion rand, which the bargaining council says the city can pay over a 6-month period. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
And a German court has sentenced a nurse to life behind bars for the murders of 10 patients and attempted murders of 27 others. The man was accused of injecting his mostly elderly patients with large doses of morphine with the simple aim of reducing his workload during the night shift. The offences were committed between December 2023 and May of 2024. The court also determined that he should be barred from early release after 15 years, which is normally an option in such cases. The court was told that the nurse used a muscle relaxant, sometimes used for executions in the United States. Gold is trading at $3,966.30 an ounce. The rand is at 17.49 to the dollar, 22.81 to the pound, 20.09 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $64.89 a barrel.
Roadwork still causing delays in the Calvin Alex area heading towards Germiston. That's the N3 southbound between the Between to Change and London Road. Traffic lights still not working in Edenville at Modderfontein Road in Van Riebeck, as well as in Rand Park Ridge at Beyersnodie and the N1.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng with thundershowers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 26 and 28 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, a meeting between controversial businessman Brown Mokgotsi, his attorneys and the police has now concluded.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
A very good afternoon, everyone. It's 8 minutes past 3 on Wednesday, the 5th of November. This is 702 Drive with me, John Perlman. Wherever you're listening to us in 702 land, welcome to the show. As you've just heard, Brown Mokgotsi has just finished talking to police investigators after failing to return to the Vosloorus police station yesterday. That was meant to be in fulfillment of an undertaking he'd made to open a case and tell people what happened in the shooting that he alleges took place. More on that story coming up. Some other stuff we're covering. The city of Johannesburg can probably make informal traders register their businesses. Arguably, that is the easy part. But can they enforce the bylaws that regulate the way in which they trade, given how much difficulty it would seem the city has in enforcing other bylaws, like illegal setting up of places for taxi ranks, illegal occupation of land, illegal dumping of building rubble and other kinds of refuse. Mamokgethi Modiba from the Gauteng City Region Observatory joins us with some insights after 4. What ideas for growing prosperity and jobs will emerge when some of South Africa's best entrepreneurial minds get together in one place? Ray White joining us at about 25 past 3. With the very latest from the SA Future Trust Summit. And as crime intelligence boss, General Dumisani Khumalo continues his testimony to the Madlanga Commission, we'll look out for the most important facts that are coming out. Oren Singh is on that right now and joins us after 5. We've got all that and a whole lot more on 702 Drive, including breaking news, news from the roads in our regular traffic updates, and the latest from the markets. The JSE's had a decent bounce today, up by 470 points, with resources doing particularly well, that index up by 1.2%. Some of that is due to a $37.70 spike in the gold price, reflected in a 2.6% pickup for Goldfields, other gold companies doing well as well. The Foschini Group is up by 3.4%. Newcomer Optasia, a global fintech company that listed this week, is up by 2.7%. The rand is currently trading at 17.45 against the US dollar, 4 cents better than it was this time yesterday. A euro will cost you 20 Rand and 5 cents, 3 cents better, and 22 Rand 75 will get you a pound. The oil price is up by 4 cents. Brent crude currently trading at $64.30 a barrel. Stephen Curtis joins us with all the details at 4:25. And of course, he brings you the Money Show between 6 and 8. We'll get sport with Tolakele Mganga. Mbali Dlamini is with us with the very latest news headlines. Quite a lot bubbling under today. We'll see what else comes out of that Brown Mokhotsi conversation with the cops. And Karabo Chale is keeping an eye on the roads. This is 702 Drive. We're live in the place where you live. And if it's happening in 702 land, you'll hear about it here first. But if you hear about it before we do, well, of course, help out. Give us a call on 072 702 1702 or 011 883 0702. It's 11 minutes past 3.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
So we have lots to talk about, lots to inquire about, lots to think about, including some of those things that, you could say are less important, but they do engage us and they do get us talking, including this story. Quite a few people I noticed on social media responding to news that Top Billing, very popular TV show, which I have to confess I never really watched, doesn't make it any less popular just because I didn't watch it. In fact, it might be a very good indicator of its mass appeal. But there you go. Anyway, it's going to return to SABC3 in 2026. Now, the show ran for 25 years. It was cancelled in 2019, but it will be back. So I want to know, are there other TV shows that you absolutely wish would come back? They can be South African. They can be TV shows that you enjoyed but were produced in other parts of the world. Give us a call on that on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. Just be sure to tell us why. A couple of people are just putting the names of the shows. Thank you for those. But Poppy, you say Isidingo. Tell us why. Pagiso wants to see Sanford and Son back again. Tell us what it is about that show that you miss. Rifue Litsua, shows that you'd like to see come back and why, please.
Good afternoon, John, and to the rest of the 702 family. The very one that's on the top of my mind is A Word or Two. I just forget who the presenter was. So A Word or Two was a game show that had to do with numbers, cultural references, words. So it was really one of those things that you would learn a lot, because I like a lot of general knowledge. You never know when I need to just make up conversation, say, did you know that this and this about this creature or person? And yeah, that's what I remember, A Word or Two.
So, yeah, go.
Jeremy Mansfield, our former colleague.
Yes, I was.
Yes, now it's making more
late.
sense. Yes,
Yeah.
so I was quite young when it was out. I mean, I was
Fair
still in
enough.
a bit of primary. I was in primary when it came out.
I used to
yeah.
enjoy that show as well.
Ran a long time, 1998 to 2008, eh? And was only the second English language version of the show so far. Apparently, it was originally a French show. Des chiffres et des lettres. There we go.
I did not know that.
No, I didn't know that either. I'm just online. What do you
Here
think?
goes to
Store all the stuff in my head.
General knowledge. I love it. I love
Bit
it.
of general knowledge. How about you, Karabo? Charlie, what would you like to have back?
Well, speaking of Top Billing, I would love to have that one back. Actually, I'm excited to have it back. I remember I went for auditions to be a Top Billing presenter. I was a big fan of that show.
Okay.
But there's a few other shows that I would love to have back. One is The Weakest Link, which I was on as well because I just love general knowledge. And the other big one, which I would love to be part of, it's The Amazing Race. So,
Okay.
you remember The Amazing Race?
No.
No. No.
I just remember panic around it. My
they
memory is
give you
panic.
where they give you like challenges, and then you race literally around the world. So you go to different places around the world, and the first one to get to a specific country, well, I guess
they give you clues as well.
Yeah,
Is it
they
that
give you
one?
clues, they
Yeah.
give you challenges
Yes.
and stuff like that. So before you go to the next destination, you have to figure out the challenge, it's physical, it's mental. It was I just loved it.
So I suppose if I were to think of two, I mean, one would be South African and another would be an American show, and both of them you could argue kind of finished. So it's not as if it's like a game show where you can do more of it, or top billing a magazine show where you can carry on doing what you did. So I'm not sure if I'm answering my own question, but in South Africa, I would love either Yizo to come back or something similar to that. I absolutely loved that show. And in the United States, I was so sad when The Wire was finished. But The Wire was kind of done, really. I mean, the story was done. They could have done more, but then, you maybe would have found yourself going, well, why are you still doing this? It's all getting a little bit old and tired. Reality shows, magazine shows, game shows, can't say I've ever been into them much.
But why Yizo? I think Karabo wants to ask the same question. I beat him to it.
It was such a controversial drama series. Why Yizo? And how did you relate to it, if I may ask?
Excuse me. So, first of all, I thought it was terrific television. It was really well acted. It was very well scripted. And they built wonderful characters. They built it outwards from a single school.
Yes.
I think it was called Supatsela High or something like that.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. And then they built the show outwards from that into the community. Then I think in season 2 or might have been 3, some of the characters moved to live in Hillbrow. Yes. And it was just very much of its time. It had fabulous energy.
Nice.
Loved it.
Yeah, I would be Papa Action if it comes back. I'd audition for that role as Papa Action.
Okay, but you'd have to be him like, what is it, 15 years ago or whatever. Anyway, those were 2 shows I especially liked. We got another vote for Isidingo from Kenneth. That show had a huge impact. Horizon Deep. Rhythm City. CLC would like to see that coming back. And there's quite a few more that we'll share with you. Nistak. What was Nistak? Was that a kids show?
I think it's Nick Tup, or it was it was about doctors who did surgeries and stuff like that. What is this? Plastic surgeries and stuff like that. It was,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Nip Tuck.
All right.
And then how the
no, that's Nip Tuck.
Is this something different?
This is Nis Tuck, which is Afrikaans news branch, I suppose.
Okay.
Okay. We'll Google it.
Sure.
Google, my man. Always helps me out. Making ordinary people sound smarter than they really are.
True.
For how many years? I don't know. Anyway, 18 minutes past 3. How are the roads? How is the traffic?
Well, not looking too bad. It's the same usual problems, rather. This is in the Kelvin area. Roadworks slowing down traffic N3 southbound between the Patlu Interchange and London Road. Also, Edenvale, we also have roadworks causing some delays. Modderfontein Road between Pretoria Road and the N3. Otherwise, the roads are looking pretty good generally, and no accidents have been reported on our highways. Just look out for those faulty traffic lights in the Edenvale area. This is at Modderfontein Road in Van Riebeck. Traffic lights also not working still in Rand Park Ridge at Beyers Naudé and the N1. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Africa Milani.
Weekday mornings,
4 to 6.
We are not on strike as SACA, but not only are we not on strike, we don't want to go on a strike. We're not interested in going on. We have accepted the deal. SAFA should just act with dignity. That's all.
What is this one issue then that you want removed from the agreement in order for you to be signatory to that agreement?
So there is a lunch hour sacrifice. You are entitled to a lunch hour. But cabin crew fly, so they don't have time to be sitting somewhere and eating lunch and whatever. So we understand that as a union.
Advocate Christopher Shabangu is the president of the South African Cabin Crew Association.
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
At Investec, we not only bank you, we bank your whole family. So wherever you are, they have full access to our services and financial support, because their peace of mind is our priority. If you earn 800,000 Rand per annum or more, you may qualify for Investec Private Banking, where you'll enjoy effortless digital capabilities backed by real people who understand you. We'll even switch your account for you. Now that's private banking.
Investec is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. Investec, out of the ordinary.
Lock into roaring rugby action this season with Hollywood Bets. Bet 50 Rand or more on any Vodacom United Rugby Championship fixture, and you could win a share of 300,000 Rand in cash, betting vouchers or prizes. This includes Smeg bar fridges, macro vouchers, a Sharks captain run, or a player circle experience. Only the toughest team will prevail. Bet now and let the rugby rumble begin. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Live extra with Checkers, SA's #1 in value supermarket. Save big on deals like Sunshine D 40% light or 60% original fat spread, 500 grams, any two for 79 Rand. Baby Soft 2-ply toilet rolls, 9 per pack, and Domestos Power Foam 450 mils, both for 99 Rand. And Nescafe Gold caffeinated instant coffee, 200 grams, any for 149.99. Valid until Sunday at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
While you're prepping for the best summer yet, make sure you're also planning for a successful future. 702 Drive with John Perlman chats to Liberty Financial Advisor Sheila Ann Roby to find out how.
Risk is always the foundation of any good financial plan, obviously being your insurance cover, because none of the goals and dreams that you have in place come to fruition if something devastating actually happens to you. So good risk planning, building a good emergency savings, getting your budget, and then doing estate planning, drafting a will, making sure there's provisions for tax, etc.
Visit primemediaplus.com for the full interview with Liberty on 702. Let's walk the talk.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
22 minutes past 3. I've just remembered actually a show that kind of fits what we're talking about in terms of bringing it back. I really like the Pure Munati show. Kagiso Lediga, David Kau, there was a whole lot of guys who then went on, I think, to really quite stellar careers in comedy. But that was great. Thursday night, if I recall, 9:30, something like that. I may have got the time wrong. I asked about Dinistak. Thank you, Vainant, who says Dinistak was 2 puppets, an owl, and another small animal. I've just checked. Looks like a chameleon to me. And Vainant concludes by saying, and that joked about the latest news. Online, I'm told it was a satirical news reportage series aired on Good Morning South Africa, created by Zach Duplessis Hannes and Althea Fasachi. So, yeah, some people would like to see that coming back. The TV show that you wish was restored. Neighbours, I think that's the Australian one. Carly Minogue, if I'm not mistaken, was the star on that. Anyway, keep those coming, please. 23 past 3.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
So, Brown Mokhotsi Tuesday night, supposedly a shooting, people shooting at his car from Monday night. Then Tuesday, shooting at his car from a white bakkie. Let me complete that sentence. Tuesday, an extended wait out at the Vosloorus police station. Police said he would be coming in at 8 to open a case and tell them exactly what it is that happened. And then, well into today, we get the news that police and Mr. Mokhotsi, accompanied by his legal counsel, have actually met. So when we phoned the police spokesperson, Brigadier Tlenda Mate, she was saying they're not talking about what happened or what was said, but Alpha Ramushwana, our EWN reporter colleague, has his ways and means, and he's here to tell us what he's managed to find out about the meeting. Alpha, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John. So, police have actually been looking for Brown Mokhotsi for about a month.
Right.
You would remember that in October, police released or obtained a search warrant for the properties of Brown Mokhotsi, and they did search one of his business properties in the northwest, but they also wanted to seize his digital devices, and they could not do so because he had said that he would hand himself over to the Sandton police station last month, and he still hasn't till today. So the search warrant, which was dated the 16th of October, hadn't been put to use. So today they finally met with Brown Mokhotsi. First thing is that they finally got a hold of those digital devices that they were looking for. Of course, this is for an ongoing investigation into allegations that he meddled with police investigations and that he acted as a middleman between senior police officials, and the underworld figures, the likes of Vusmuzi, Kat Matlala. So police have been investigating that, and they needed his devices. They finally got those devices today, a month later. So I just thought to myself, they told him last month that they want his devices.
Right.
They only got them today. What was happening, during the past month? He could have meddled with those devices, could have, given them the wrong devices. So that's what happened at the meeting today. But the team that's also investigating the alleged attempted murder, which happened on Monday evening, was also there at the meeting in Johannesburg. And finally, they took down the statement from Brown Mukhotsi. You would remember that police said he was asked to go to the Vosloorus police station on Monday evening to write down a statement about his alleged attempted hit, and he refused on Monday evening and said he'd be back on Tuesday morning to submit his statement, and he was a no-show yesterday. So today they finally took down that statement, and police do know, according to Brown Mukhotsi, what happened yesterday. So the meeting was about the search warrant and the attempted hit.
So after insisting he wanted to be left to his own devices, Brown Mukhotsi has finally handed them over. By the way, if anybody knows something about devices, can you make material changes to your cell phone devices? Obviously, of course you can. But can you do it in a way that doesn't leave a digital footprint? I'd be very interested to know. You may not be able to recover the material from that device, but is it not out there somewhere in cyberspace where it can be tracked down? Very, very interesting. Thank you, Alpha Ramoshwana, just updating us on the very latest on that story. There'll be more, I'm sure, coming up a little bit later in the course of the day. 27 minutes past 3.
Drive home with John Perlman
On 702, let's walk the talk.
Now to this, the South African Future Trust Summit in partnership with Standard Bank returns to the Sandton Convention Centre on the 5th and 6th of November, i.e. starting today. Our colleague Ray White is there to give us the scoop and updates of everything happening out at the summit. Ray, very good afternoon to you. It's always an event of great energy, entrepreneurs, budding and experience, lots of really smart people gathering together to share ideas and to put those ideas to the test. What's happened so far that's really caught your ear? Good afternoon.
Hi, John. Good afternoon. Well, there have been some big takeaways so far at the SA Future Trust Summit. It's gathering of advice on not giving up. And I was listening to Jonathan Oppenheimer earlier on. He's the creator of this big summit. And, he's just saying that sometimes he would get to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning, get up at 7 o'clock, 3 hours later. He's tired. He wants to give up. It's that kind of thing. And he says entrepreneurs that succeed don't give up. And they've been giving advice like that. They say, see it through. Then think outside the box. Come up with something original. Also spoke to Bill Blackie. He's the Standard Bank's head of business and commercial banking. I asked him about the summit and its benefits. This is what he had to say. Let's take a listen.
I think there are two benefits to the summit. One is that it really showcases talent and potential in South Africa. That's what it does. It brings around the entrepreneurs that have got these brilliant products but need to get access to market, etc. And so the benefit of this summit is obviously to allow us to do that. But linked to that, of course, is it's bringing together a community to support them. So it's bringing together financial services such as ourselves. It's bringing together South Africa Future Trust that has the capacity to unlock these entrepreneurs. And it's about supporting the entrepreneurs in that journey.
Yeah, very interesting perspective then. And Ray, 2,000 plus delegates, 200 exhibitors. There are masterclasses going on throughout today and all of tomorrow as well. What are you most looking forward to? It must be quite hard to know sort of where to stop, what to go and listen to, and who to give your time to.
I love this, John, because they've got a full program out and they've got headphones with different colors on. So if it's a blue stage, you go and you listen with the blue headphones, which is pretty cool. One thing I'm really looking out for is the big pitch for $1 million. And they've just had the 10 finalists up on the stage trying to sell themselves new businesses. We should be shortly about the top 3. And then tomorrow, around about this time, we'll get the announcement of the person who wins $1 million. It's not a gift to them. They're going to use that $1 million to get their business started. It's kind of a loan in a way, But, maybe you don't have to pay it back if you do it properly. So that's my big highlight. That's coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll look forward to that, and Ray will be the first to tell us not only who won, but crucially why they won, because this pitch is, from everything I've heard, absolutely exacting. Not only do you get to say what you want to say, but you better have some answers to some pretty laser-sharp questions. Ray White out at the SA Future Trust Summit, and we'll be hearing from him again. Right, let's get the very latest eyewitness news with Mbali Dlamini, starting off at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, where the Crime Intelligence Boss General Dumisani Khumalo is currently saying his say.
That's correct, John. A very good afternoon. Suspended Deputy National Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibia allegedly instructed criminally accused tender tycoon Vusimuzi Matlala to open a false case of theft against members of the Political Killings Task Team. This is according to Crime Intelligence Boss Dumisani Khumalo, who is currently testifying before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Khumalo claims he met with former Police Minister Bheki Cele last year, who informed him that Matlala admitted to opening a case of theft against Khumalo and the Political Killings Task Team. He alleged that police had stolen Rolex watches and laptops during a raid at his home last year. Khumalo says the case was not added to the court roll as it wasn't seen as urgent, and later the charges were withdrawn.
I had met with the former Minister of Police, General Cele, who informed me that he had been approached by Mr. Matlala, informing him that Lieutenant General Sibia advised him, Matlala, to open a false case against myself and my members that we had stolen the watches and a MacBook.
The ANC's reconfiguration in the Western Cape has claimed its first high-profile defection. The party's former provincial secretary, Neville Delport, is now joined the DA. He and 3 others were welcomed to the party by Federal Council Chairperson Helen Ziller today. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
Neville Delport was elected to the ANC's provincial leadership in the Western Cape in 2023 after the party had been under an interim leadership for 4 years. But after just 2 years, the ANC's national executive once again disbanded the province's elected leadership last week. Delport, who led the party's Rural for Change movement ahead of last year's elections, believes the so-called reconfiguration is factional politics at play.
This is just the beginning of ANC councillors, especially in rural regions, that will defect to the DA as we develop a strategy in the Western Cape to make sure the DA remains the political party in charge of this province.
DA Federal Chairperson Helen Ziller says Delport's job will be to mobilise support for the DA, particularly in rural municipalities. 2 by-elections will now also have to take place after the defection of 2 former ANC ward councillors. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
Let's stay in the Western Cape. Police say they should wrap up the investigation into the cause of the George building collapse by the end of this month. 34 construction workers were killed and 28 others injured when a multi-story building caved in last year. A search and rescue operation lasted 11 days, after which the site was handed over to police to investigate the cause of the disaster. Police briefed Parliament's portfolio committees on human settlements and public works on the progress of their 18-month-long probe today. Deputy Provincial Police Commissioner Bongani Maqashalala explained why there have been delays in the investigation.
The warning statement of Michelle, that is the principal agent, we have arranged with them that we are going to receive the warning statement in November. Statement from Susan Mart from National Home Builders Regulatory Council. Currently, she is not mentally fit to submit the statement. She has been sick since the incident, but we've got the report from that space.
And in Paris, online fast fashion retailer Shein has opened its first physical store amid a heavy police presence today. Paris authorities deployed riot police for the unveiling of Shein's first bricks-and-mortar store in the world. People queued outside ahead of the scheduled controversial opening, while children's rights activists staged a protest nearby. The retailer is facing criticism over the recent sale of childlike sex dolls online. Shein, which was founded in China, has also faced criticism over working conditions at its factories and the environmental impact of its ultra-fast fashion business model. It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today with thunder showers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 26 and 28 degrees.
In Edenville, traffic is sluggish on Modderfontein Road between Pretoria Road and the N3 due to ongoing roadworks. Also roadworks slowing down traffic still in the Calvin area heading towards Germiston. That's the N3 southbound between the Between Interchange and London Road. Irene, also slow-moving traffic. This is on Main Road approaching Nelmay Pierce Drive.
The top story in EWN, suspended Deputy National Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya allegedly instructed criminally accused tender tycoon Vusimuzi Matlala to open a false case of theft against members of the Political Killings Task Team.
For generations, the world has spoken about Africa.
More needs to be done to ensure that the prosperity is broadly shared.
Now, for the first time, the world's leaders gather on African ground.
This summit's location underscores the need for African voices to be heard.
On the 22nd and 23rd of November, the G20 summit lands on our soil. A moment where South Africa doesn't just host the conversation, we help lead it.
The majority of the 54 nations that now comprise Africa were never offered a seat at the table where plans for a new world order were being drawn.
From solidarity and equality to food security, poverty and climate justice, this is where Africa's voice rises, not as an echo, but as a force. And as history unfolds in real time, EWN, 702 and K-Talk bring you closer to every decision, every voice, every detail that shapes our future. Stay with us and stay connected to the story being written on home ground, on air, on the EWN app, and on primemediaplus.com.
The Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra presents the second concert of the Spring Symphony season, featuring much-loved works by Mendelssohn, Elgar and more. Under the baton of conductor Michael Repper, the orchestra is joined by award-winning cellist Sandra League Hager, performing Haydn's Joyful Cello Concerto. The concert takes place Thursday, 6 November at 7:30 p.m. at the Linda Auditorium. Book your tickets through Quicket to avoid disappointment.
Access to the internet is vital for any country to grow. That's why the recent 6.75 billion rand digital infrastructure deal that Standard Bank Corporate and Investment Banking facilitated between Telkom and an Actis-led consortium is so transformational for South Africa. It unlocks growth and provides internet access to underserved communities who will now have access to the internet for the very first time. Search CIB Stories of Impact to watch the full story.
Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
The joy of what if we just let it go to voicemail. The joy of what if we skipped the flight for a front row seat to the open road. The joy of what if the wrong turn took us the right way. The joy of what if we didn't share this view and kept it our secret. The joy of what if not being there yet was the best part. Choose the joy of what if with BMW.
From waste to worth, small beginnings to a decade of impact, the Gauteng Industrial Symbiosis Program celebrates 10 years of unlocking growth for SMMEs through industrial symbiosis. Catch the Clement Manyatela Show live from the Holiday Inn Sunnyside Park Hotel for the Gauteng Department of Environment tomorrow, as the program marks this incredible milestone. Discover how innovation is driving cleaner production, smarter business, and a more sustainable future. That's the Clement Manyatela Show, live from the 10-year celebration of the Gauteng Industrial Symbiosis Program, tomorrow on 702.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
John from Springs. Yeah, no, I want Vili Wali to come back. I mean, the reason why, because Benny Bookford tells the best stories. Anyway, have a good one.
Good day, 702 listeners. Oh, the best one was 2.5 Men. 2.5 Men was the best show and still is the best show for me. While he was still staring Charlie Sheen. Oh, the jokes in there. Chuck Lorre, he was a killer. That's the best one for me.
Vili Vali, very popular. When was Vili Vali on? It was out in the 1980s, I believe. Some other much loved. Yasmin says, Jam Alley for me, John. It used to play on Friday nights. What? You were always shouting, Jam Alley or what?
Jam Alley, Jam Alley. Oh,
Okay.
Jam Alley, yo, bangani, yo.
Okay, there we go. I was going to say that, actually. And then Titus in Rosettenville says, Gladiators, bring it back.
Oh, yes.
So
Another one bites the dust.
Yes, but also in Gladiators, they used to have one of South Africa's greatest cricket umpires, Cyril Mitchley, was like the referee. He had a black and white striped shirt that he wore. And I seem to remember he would shout, Gladiators, are you ready? And then they'd start doing things like hitting each other with giant earbuds and stuff.
Oh, man.
I probably wasn't the target audience. Maybe they weren't earbuds. It was something else. Anyway, Gladiators. Titus misses it. Anyone want to bring it back? Well, you will have a fan in Titus and probably some more. Pumzile Family Matters is the show that Pumzile would like to be back. Eldon says, I think that Molo Fish should be brought back on television as it was educational, informative, and entertaining. Eric Mieni was lead actor in that, if I recall. Anyway, we'll check that out. There we go. Yeah, he says, brilliant in his role as Daryl Malchus, and I believe that he was creative and intellectual in that role. So, favorite TV shows you want to see brought back, keep those coming on 072 702 1702, 19 minutes to 4.
EWN Sport.
Tola Kelly, a very good afternoon to you. So South Africa losing a very tight game in the end against Pakistan and some team changes as well, I believe.
Absolutely, John. And it's Ruben Herman who's replaced the injured Deval Brevis for the remainder of the Proteas ODI series against Pakistan. His call-up comes the day after South Africa lost that first game by 2 wickets as they suffered a third defeat in a row against their hosts. A third wicket partnership of 91 off 111 balls between Mohammad Rizwan and Salman Agha set up that victory after openers Luandre Pretorius and Quinton de Kock had scored half-centuries for the Proteas.
To be honest, I would have never thought I would play with him. When he retired, I was really upset because it was always a dream since I was young to play with Quinny. And then he retired, and when he came back, I didn't think I was going to play with him. Thought he might replace me. It's really cool. Yeah, I haven't been scoring runs of late, so I was really nervous going into this, but I just backed myself. Coach Wands and Shooks always speak about it, back yourself and back your ability. There's a reason you're here, so I just focused on doing that. And yeah, I wouldn't say it paid off. 50 is, I don't want to say that's runs. I would have liked to kick on and score 100.
And cap opener Jake Weatherald has been named in Australia's squad for the first Ashes test, while Manus Labuschagne has been recalled to the 15-man squad. The Baggy Greens will be captained by Steve Smith in the absence of Pat Cummings, who's currently injured. Switching over to the Bedway Premiership, where Kaizer Chiefs and Polokwane City were the only teams to win last night, as the other two games finished in goalless draws. Duduzi Shabalala netted a brace and registered an assist as Cedric Kaze Chargers beat Orbit College 4-1. They now pull level with Mamelodi Sundowns at the top of the standings.
As a number 10, he needs to contribute more on the areas that he's supposed to help, which means the goals and assists. Sometimes to find the right decisions, the right pass. I would say that probably there was moments in the past that when he gets inside the box, he was taking more touches than needed. It's something that we are correcting.
Golden Arrows midfielder Sianda Ndlovu and Orlando Pirates head coach Adeslam Adu have been named League Player and Coach of the Month respectively for September and October, marking the duo's first ever accolades. Ndlovu has been key in Abafana Tende's recent rise, finding the back of the net 3 times and contributing 3 assists in his 5 games played. While for Adu, he's awarded after guiding the Buccaneers to a perfect run, securing 3 wins from their 3 matches, all without conceding a goal. And Ansia Bear has revealed that she's suffering with depression due to the demanding nature of the WTA schedule and has called on tennis authorities to downgrade Masters 1000 tournaments that are played over 2 weeks. In July, the Tunisian shared a message on social media announcing that she was taking an indefinite break from the game. That's to focus on her well-being. Tolagile Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Traffic time once again. Rush hour, of course, is getting busier and busier as the afternoon unfolds. And Edenvale is a bit of a problem, as Karabo Chali is about to explain.
Yeah, that's due to roadworks opposite the Edenvale Hospital. That's on Modderfontein Road between Pretoria Road and the N3. Expect delays due to roadworks through there. Also roadworks causing delays still in the Calvin Alex area heading towards Germiston. That's on the N3 southbound between the Bethlehem Interchange and London Road. If you're traveling towards the Joburg CBD, that's in the Parktown area. There's bumper-to-bumper traffic. M1 southbound between Killarney Benz and the double-decker section, and in Pretoria, Irene. Slow-moving traffic on Main Road approaching Nelmay Pierce Drive. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Some other TV shows people wish would come back. Zone 14 is what Ntakadzeni would like to see make a return. Then we've got a little bit of a dissenting voice from Susan or Susan, who says there are just way too many reruns already. Let's have more new movies and new series. Tolakele, TV shows you wish would come back.
I have two. Internationally, it's been 10 years of fans pleading for this, but Girlfriends, I'm still mad over the fact that the final season never wrapped, especially Joan's story up to see if she finally gets like her happy ending. And then locally, it would be City Sesla. I used to love that show on a Friday. It was such a funny, like we don't normally have a lot of like comedic shows in South Africa. Everything's like drama, but City Sesla was the perfect mixture of comedy and like odd little life lessons in between.
So virtually everything that gets mentioned, I have to Google. So Girlfriends, I'm just looking at the pictures. There appear to have been four of them.
Yes, 4 friends.
Okay.
Tony leaves, I think, after the 4th season, and then they get another girl to be the 4th girl.
Yes.
But all of them had all individual stories. One of the friends was a single mom who had a kid as a teenager, gets back with her ex-husband. Another one, Lynn, is always searching for her passion, has 4 degrees, but can never find out what she wants to do. Joan was a successful lawyer, but then she realized like midway through her 30s that it's something that she doesn't want to do, so she had to spend the rest of the show figuring herself out. And then Monica is kind of the new girl in the group. She hangs out with she marries their male best friend, but
Yes.
the other girls don't like her. So she was also just trying to navigate creating a relationship with them because they're all going to be in each other's lives forever.
So no car chases.
No, definitely not.
Okay. Not my scene. So, I mean, a couple of questions then. TV shows that you liked. I'd also be really interested to know, because I think just we mentioned earlier Gladiators, and the actual live event was held out at Carnival City, if I recall, somewhere, but in a very big venue. I mean, did you ever go out there? And who knows? Maybe somebody out there took part in Gladiators. You may want to call in and give us a call on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. Golden Girls, says Dovi, and WKRP in Cincinnati. We're going way back on the latter one there. That was in the early days of TV, I think 80s, WKRP? I think so. Anyway, 12 minutes to 4.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
And at this time, we are in conversation with Santam, a proud sponsor of the G20 Summit, building resilience where it matters most. Santam, this is freedom. Across South Africa, resilience doesn't just happen, it's built. That's why Santam has supported 102 municipalities with capacity building, resources, and risk mitigation, strengthening the systems that protect South Africans. Because when communities are prepared, people have the freedom to move forward with confidence. And now Santam is a proud sponsor of the G20 Summit. Today we're in conversation with Head of Investor Relations and Strategy at the Santam Group. We say a very good afternoon to Tabiso Khulashe, who's here to tell us a bit more about the sponsorship and what it means for Santam, South Africa, and the rest of the G20 countries, right here on 702. Mr. Khulashe, welcome and thanks very much for your time. I want to come back to the work you've been in South African municipalities. But let's get into the G20. What prompted Santam to get involved with an event that is an international one like this? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John, and thank you for that introduction. I think it's quite important that Santam, as a lead and a leading short-term insurance company, does get involved in resilience building and disaster risk and reduction. I think G20 does offer us an opportunity to really share some of our learnings that we've had in South Africa. In particular, in the G20, we are participating in the Disaster Risk and Reduction Working Group, which is led by our COPTA ministry, and that through that involvement, we are able to share some learnings, good practices, and some of from what we've got from our flagship program, like Partnership and Risk and Resilience. So we hope and that the learnings that we're able to share with the G20 countries, we're able to be utilized. Most importantly, was to emphasize the role of partnerships between government and the private sector.
I mean, the context of all of this, Mr. Khulashe, is we've had terrible floods. There's a sense that global warming is exacerbating many of these things. I mean, you talk about what Santam has learned over the years of being very much involved at the coalface through your municipalities partnership. But what are some of the key things that you would say you have learned and in particular that you've shared with people from 19 other countries?
So I think given that history and the context, John, I think it's quite important that one of the important parts, I think, in partnership with local government, and in fact, it's not just with local government, our partnership, it's with both provincial and as well as the national government.
Okay.
But it's to really anchor on the point of collaboration and partnership, because we do need to work with each other. In the context of these complex risks that you've just spoken about, that on its own, no one organization, even governments, can single-handedly deal with that. So it was quite important that we do share some of the learnings that we have. In particular, one of the learnings is really to provide capacity where government may necessarily not be able to fulfill some of its roles and responsibility and to work together. And I think some of those learnings, in fact, they date back around 2012. And when we responded to the clarion call that government had at the time around corporate South Africa to participate in the country and support the local municipalities, specifically with capacity building. So that's one of the key areas that we've had to do and learn and showcase and also share with some of our 19 other countries around the world that are part of the G20. Yeah.
So give us a sense then. I want to bring it back home because that's obviously something you at Santam, Mr. Khulashe, have been doing for longer. But what is a typical partnership with, let's say, a municipality involved? Maybe not a metro, but a smaller one where perhaps expertise and a helping hand is a little bit in more short supply. What kind of things do you engage in? Because you use the word resilience, and I would have thought that's a central thread.
Yeah, no, that's quite correct. So some of the examples are very quite specific in the areas around fire services and disaster risk management. And as you would know, as a leading and the largest insurer, we do understand the risk. We do understand risk better. We do know how to manage and respond to that. I think most importantly, I think for the municipality, and in an example that you've given of a small municipality, is around capacity to respond on time when there's fire in a specific community. And I think that's one of the key things. In some areas, we found that some of our municipalities may not necessarily have the right equipment, or especially communication tools. We've gone into place and partnered with them and provided with some of those communication tools. In certain areas, provided them with material and training specifically as well to contribute and manage some of these risks a lot more better. Just an example, we have provided a foam which was used in a municipality in Free State to manage fires quite down. So
Right.
that's one of the key areas where you do play a role and contribute.
You're also trying to get younger people involved. I understand you did something with Tshwane municipality. Storm drainage that doesn't work when we do have flash floods and heavy rain. The damage is magnified by those failures to look after crucial infrastructure. But you got young people involved. What did you do and why?
So I think it was quite important to partner with City of Tshwane, specifically in this area, and we do have quite a number of young people. As you know, South Africa does face a challenge of youth unemployment. And in instances like this, where we know it's quite important to really maintain the infrastructure, especially what stormwater drainage, we participated and got young people involved in our partnership that we had with City of Tshwane. And this was to essentially contribute to that, making a resilient infrastructure in the City of Tshwane, and also to get young people practical experience and participate in essentially looking after and contributing to the city's infrastructure. More importantly, it's about reducing the losses that the city itself and the community in the city that would largely face when floods do take place. So that's really to minimize some of the losses, some of the risks that may be brought around by floods in such an area. So the examples that we've had with stormwater drainage and maintenance in the City of Tshwane has been great, because it's one of the areas where most municipalities underfunded, doesn't always have enough adequate budget, and therefore it helps us to contribute and work with City of Tshwane. And it's been a great partnership that we've had with them, and there's been some key learnings on how you can involve communities, especially young people, and work with government in this instance and the private sector like ourselves. So that has been one of the great important tools. And some of those young people have really gained a valuable hands-on experience and essential skills around how to manage stormwater management as well.
Thank you so much. Thambiso Gulashe joined us from the Santam Group. He's head of investor relations and strategy. Now, across South Africa, resilience doesn't just happen, it's built. That's why Santam has supported 102 municipalities with capacity building, resources and risk mitigation, strengthening the systems that protect South Africans. Because when communities are prepared, people have the freedom to move forward with confidence. Santam is a proud sponsor of the G20 Summit. Santam, this is freedom. Santam is an authorized FSP, a licensed non-life insurer, and the controlling company for its group of companies.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
Who should apply to bring back accused persons to face justice in South Africa?
The authority lies with the minister, but the NPA is involved in the process because the minister does not get to have a case and is not a person that deals with prosecution.
Bushiri made serious allegations. Is it your suspicion that's why he's not being brought back by the Malawian courts?
If he says he does not have a case, why is it difficult for him to come and answer?
Minister Amluku Kubai.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Every day I'm hustling. It's our reality as business owners. And it's good to know that there's someone out there who takes care of the business that makes the business. Gotta love My Way Business Insurance. Saving big on premiums with 24/7 emergency services, plus My Business Assist with marketing, legal, and labor advice services.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
Before a masterpiece takes shape, there's a single line that starts it all, until every curve and every angle reflects the clarity of a single vision. And only then does inspiration take its final form. The all-new Audi A5, designed to inspire. Starting from $14,499 per month with a guaranteed future value. Visit audi.co.za or your nearest dealer for more. T's and C's apply.
The unexamined life is not worth living. Socrates' timeless wisdom reminds us of the power of introspection. At Plus 94 Research, we delve deep into data, uncovering insights that drive meaningful decisions. Our scientific methodologies transform questions into clarity. Don't just operate, understand. Don't just guess, know. Plus 94 Research, the science of decision making.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
702 Drive coming up for the news at 4 o'clock. After 4, we're going to focus on that issue around informal traders in Johannesburg. It's played out throughout the week. Important court decision made a couple of days ago. But the city's bylaws, are they merely honoured in the breach, or is it possible to give them somewhat sharper teeth? We'll put that question to Mamoketi Modiba, joining us from the Gauteng City Region Observatory. 702 Drive, it's 4 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Police finally seize Brown Mogotsi's digital devices, and drug use still a major concern in Westbury. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Nearly a month after a search warrant was issued for controversial businessman Brown Mogotsi, police have finally seized his digital devices. Officers engaged Mogotsi in Johannesburg today over an alleged attempt on his life and claims that he interfered in police investigations. Mogotsi claims on Monday evening unknown gunmen opened fire at his vehicle in Vosloorus on the East Rand. Police have been searching for him for several weeks now amid allegations that he was a middleman between senior police officials and underworld figures. Police spokesperson Athlenda Mate.
The SAPS has successfully executed the search and seizure warrant that was issued for the 16th of October in Mahikeng for Mr. Brown Mogotsi. The team investigating the fraud, corruption and defeating the ends of justice case has also seized certain devices from him. The team met at Brown Mogotsi's lawyers' offices in Johannesburg.
At the same time, some Vosloorus residents have expressed skepticism over Mogotsi's claims of an alleged assassination attempt. Mogotsi was allegedly shot at on Monday evening while driving a red Chevrolet sedan on Johannesburg's East Rand. He told police that unknown assailants in a white bakkie opened fire on his vehicle. Community members who live near the scene of the alleged shooting spoke to EWN. Alpha Ramushwana has more.
At around 10 o'clock on Monday night, several Vosloorus residents living near the N3 highway reported hearing loud gunshots. A community member who asked to remain anonymous says he rushed outside and saw a red Chevrolet riddled with bullet holes.
When I came out of the house, the car's headlights were on, the windows were shattered, and there were bullet marks on the car.
He claims that Brown Mogotsi ran away from the scene, came back later in a VW Golf, and then informed community members that he had almost been killed.
I then asked him why, as a well-known businessman, was he driving a Chevrolet Aveo. He said he was in disguise. When I checked, his car didn't even have a license disc.
Both he and his neighbor say Mogotsi appeared unbothered by what he described as an attempt on his life. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Vosloorus.
We shift our focus to this now. Crime intelligence boss Dumsani Khumalo has reiterated that he was not consulted on a decision taken to freeze all crime intelligence positions and disband the political killings task team. Testifying before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today, Khumalo spoke at length about the letter issued by Police Minister Senzo Mchunu in December last year. Following speculation on who may have drafted that letter, Mchunu clarified to Parliament's ad hoc committee recently that he was the author and was of sober mind when he drafted the letter. Oren Singh has more.
Senzo Mkunu's letter addressed to National Police Commissioner Fani Masimolo issued an instruction for the immediate disbandment of the PKTT on December 31st. The letter further stipulated that the filling of all posts within crime intelligence be immediately halted. Testifying before the Madlanga Commission today, Crime Intelligence boss Dumisani Khumalo said he became aware of the letter which was circulating in the media. Masimolo was on leave at the time the letter was issued to his office and was only scheduled to return to work in mid-January.
I disowned the letter from the first when it started trending up until the 14th when I received it officially, and we had an opportunity now to discuss and try to understand it with the National Commission.
Khumalo says he was not consulted on anything that was contained in Mkunu's letter. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
To this now, it has emerged that children as young as 9 are being treated for substance abuse in parts of Johannesburg. The revelation was made by the South African National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence after receiving data from its centre in Westbury. The organisation says what's more alarming is that the same children are often also introduced to gangs. Today, community leaders, religious organisations and residents met at the Westbury Recreational Centre to discuss how to address this issue. Jabuli Limbata has more.
Sanka's branch in Westbury has a rehabilitation centre with a program called Treating Children Under 17 Years. Its program's coordinator, John Dlamini, says they are currently treating 80 teens. He says most concerning is the type of drugs the young ones are consuming.
Not just drugs, not alcohol, not dagga, literally consuming crystal at 9. And when you listen to what happened is my uncle was doing it in a room. He fell asleep. I pulled the pipe. I liked it.
He adds that for the treatment to work, the participants need to be willing to leave drugs for good. Jabuli Lembata, Eyewitness News.
And a German court has sentenced a nurse to life behind bars for the murder of 10 patients and attempted murder of 27 others. The man was accused of injecting his mostly elderly patients with large doses of morphine with the simple aim of reducing his workload during night shifts. The offences were committed between December 2023 and May of 2024. The court has also determined that he should be barred from early release after 15 years, which is normally an option in such cases. Gold is trading at $3,966.30 an ounce. The rand is at 17.49 to the dollar, 22.81 to the pound, 20.09 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $64.89 a barrel.
Calvin Alex area, we still have those roadworks causing about a 20-minute delay on the N3 southbound between the Betlu Interchange and London Road, travelling through the Joburg CBD. Expect some delays on the M2 westbound. This is between Heidelberg Road and the Crown Interchange, and in Parktown also slow-moving traffic heading towards the Joburg CBD, M1 South between Killarney Bends and the Crown Interchange.
A cloudy Thursday in store for Gauteng tomorrow with morning fog patches and afternoon thunder showers. Johannesburg dropping to overnight lows of 15 degrees, peaking at a high of 25. Pretoria 15 and 27 and Vereeniging 15 and 26 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Nearly a month after a search warrant was issued for controversial businessman Brown Mokhotsi, police have finally seized his digital devices.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
7:02 Drive, it's 8 minutes past 4. Thank you for joining us as we move into the second hour of the show. And thank you, of course, if you were with us earlier. Coming up on the show, email scams are getting more sophisticated and more difficult to detect. Paul Rulofso, who we have every week on a feature we call Minding Your Money, will be in with some very sound advice on what to look out for. That's coming your way at 10 to 5. The city of Johannesburg has been in court, come away from the engagement in the Gauteng High Court in response to a matter brought to the court around informal traders by SIRI, the Socio-Economic Rights Institute. Coming out of that is that informal traders will have to register. Very specific and some would say very focused and strict registration process. But is that going to fundamentally make a difference? And at the center of all of this are the bylaws, not just those that deal with informal traders. We have bylaws for all sorts of things in the city of Joburg, but do they have any teeth? And if they do, could they use a polish and perhaps a couple of fillings or two? We'll put that question and some others to Mamoketi Modiba, joining us from the Gauteng City Region Observatory. They look at what goes on in our metros very, very closely indeed. And then we're going to focus on a medical matter, bladder cancer, not something that gets spoken about a lot, but a very, very serious condition. We'll talk to somebody who's looking not only at bladder cancer, but at the possibility of some kind of remedy for that. Urologist Dr. Steve Cornish, my guest at 20 minutes past 4.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Mine was definitely a murder, she wrote. I'm pretty sure it's a bit of a stranger. Not many people would have heard about that who are my age, 37. But it's my mother used to watch it, and I used to watch it with her all the time. And just watching this old lady solving crimes, I don't know why it appealed to me, but it really did. So yeah, that's mine.
Afternoon, John and the team. Shows that I would bring back in its original form or rerun as firstly Suburban Bliss. It was played by Sibutla Sibogodi and Motsabi Chelele. It was this black Cup family that is moved into a new neighborhood, and they have these white neighbors. Then Fetcook Palace, I would bring that back. It's set up in a corner cafe, and it's one of the most hilarious Afrikaans comedies.
People have really fond memories of South African shows. I mean, really, really great fondness indeed. Suburban Bliss, Sputla Sibogoni mentioned there. Also Desmond Dube in it, Sue Pam Grant, Martin Lemaitre. Keep those coming. We did ask the question, as Top Billing prepares for a return after being away for a long time, back in 2026, what other shows would you like to see coming back? 072 702 1702.
EWN Traffic.
Okay, the latest from the roads. Let's get it from Karabochale, Joburg CBD. It's slow, I understand.
Yes, John. So if you're coming from the Germiston area heading into the Joburg CBD, expect some delays. M2 westbound from Heidelberg Road to the Crown Interchange. Also in Parktown, that's heading towards the Boysons area. There's slow-moving traffic. M1 southbound between Killarney Bends and the Crown Interchange, while in Calvin, roadworks are still causing about a 20-minute delay on the N3 southbound between the Butler Interchange and London Road, and in Irene, Pretoria, slow-moving traffic. That's on Main Road approaching Nelmay Pierce Drive. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
Who should apply to bring back accused persons to face justice in South Africa?
The authority lies with the minister, but the NPA is involved in the process because the minister does not get to have a case and is not a person that deals with prosecution.
Bushiri made serious allegations. Is it your suspicion that's why he's not being brought back by the Malawian courts?
If he says he does not have a case, why is it difficult for him to come and answer?
Minister Amluko Kubai.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
It's time to hit the streets and show what you're made of. The Discovery Vitality Chicken Run, flavored by Nando's, is on Saturday, 8 November at 5 p.m. And this one's pure city magic, reimagined and revitalized through Jaws My Jawsy. Choose 5K for fun or 10K for bragging rights. Not ready? Well, if you've sprinted for a taxi, dodged potholes, or climbed stairs when the power was out, you're trained. Getting there's easy. Go via Gautrain to Park Station, then jump on a free Prasa train and get yourself to Ellis Park. Lace up, show up, and enter now at racepass.com.
Whether it is a CCMA referral, problems with a mechanic, unfair blacklisting, or an uncontested divorce, Clientele Legal offers professional legal services to all South Africans. Our plans are affordable, and you receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. We cover civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Our nationwide legal teams are standing by to support you 24 hours a day. Plus, all plans include a 5,000 Rand bail benefit. Join today. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Your office is more than just a place to work. It's a reflection of your success. At Desk and Chair, we help you elevate your workspace with locally manufactured desks and a wide range of chairs to suit your style and budget. Our expert consultants are with you every step of the way, from planning to delivery and assembly. Visit our showroom in Midrand or shop online at deskandchair.co.za. Desk and Chair. Think, feel, work better.
While you're prepping for the best summer yet, make sure you're also planning for a successful future. 702 Drive with John Perlman chats to Liberty Financial Advisor Sheila Ann Roby to find out how.
Risk is always the foundation of any good financial plan, obviously being your insurance cover, because none of the goals and dreams that you have in place come to fruition if something devastating actually happens to you. So good risk planning, building a good emergency savings, getting your budget, and then doing estate planning, drafting a will, making sure there's provisions for tax, etc.
Visit primemediaplus.com for the full interview with Liberty on 702. Let's walk the talk.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Coming up now for 16 minutes past 4. Let's pick up on a story that many of you have had strong views about, and certainly something we featured prominently on the show, but also in the news bulletins throughout the day on 702. It's the High Court judgment which has directed the city of Joburg to expedite the registration of informal traders and bring stalls in line with municipal bylaws and national legislation. Some of you very much in support of that decision, but many of you had some questions. And we're going to put some of those questions now to my next guest. Dr. Mamoketi Modiba is a senior researcher at the Gauteng City Region Observatory. Dr. Modiba, welcome and thanks very much for giving us your time. I would have thought that registration by way of regularization is in part a solution, but isn't the fundamental problem not just with informal traders, but with other problems in the city as well, that we have bylaws that many people simply ignore, or if they do breach them, regard that breach as a cost of doing business?
Thank you very much, John, and good afternoon to your listeners. I think you're spot on in terms of saying that the issue that we're talking about is really related to bylaws. And if you look at the City of Joburg bylaws and you look at them in relation to the policy which was adopted in 2022, you actually see that there is a level of disjuncture between what the policy says and what the bylaws are saying. So one of the things that, for instance, the bylaws are saying is they show where areas where trading is allowed,
right,
and areas where trading is not allowed. And in writing about those provisions in the bylaws, there are a set of things that the city looks at. For instance, they look at issues around the size of the pavement. Does it allow for trading as well as allowing for pedestrians to move easily along the pavement? So those are some of the issues that the bylaws actually look at. But one of the things is that in as much as the bylaws are there to guide and ensure that street trading and other activities within the city are managed and the city is actually orderly, I think one of my main niggle is that no one is questioning the validity and adequacy of the bylaws that we currently have. Are they really looking and responding to the current context that we are living in? For instance, we know that the pavements that are in the inner city were actually not designed to accommodate informal trading if we trace it back to the apartheid era. They were not designed to accommodate informal trading. So when these bylaws are made, they are not really reflecting the current context of the inner city as it is.
It's an interesting point you're making, Dr. Modiba, because it prompted another thought for me, and that is this: that do the bylaws make an assumption about people's attitude to each other? Because if we go away from informal trading just for a moment and think, I mean, bylaws deal with noise levels in neighborhoods, they deal with illegal dumping, and all of them seem to me to either presume that the sanction that you can apply is a significant deterrent on the one hand, or on the other, that people will, broadly speaking, want to live in a way that is respectful of neighbors and neighborhoods. I think the second assumption in particular is probably quite flawed right now.
Yes, and I think also when you look at the bylaws that we have, there's so many bylaws that we have that we need to adhere to. But number one, a lot of people are not aware of what the bylaws are. I mean, even if you look at informal traders, for instance, most of the informal traders, when you talk to them about bylaws and what the bylaws allow and what they don't allow, they are not really well informed in terms of how they should be, operating in relation to these bylaws. They are not even aware what is allowed in certain cities and what is not allowed in certain cities. So I think for me, the main issue is the fact that in as much as these bylaws exist, but we find that people are not aware of what is in those, what are the provisions in those bylaws, and how do they actually make sure that they operate in such a way that, they adhere to the bylaws.
And just a final thought from you, Dr. Modiba, and we need to have you back and go into some other areas of urban life as well. But just in general, you spoke about how the bylaws and their reference to pavements designed in an era where there was no pavement trading. Clearly, there's revision needed there. But in general, do all the bylaws need to be revisited? And for example, do they need to just carry much stricter penalties for anyone to take them seriously?
I really do think that the bylaws need to be revised, especially because the policy that was adopted in 2022, it's got some really nice, very practical steps in terms of ensuring that traders are accommodated in the inner city. But then the bylaws were designed in 2000, so there is already a disjuncture. They have not been updated to be in line with the current policy. And I think the other thing for me that is very important is the fact that the municipality seems to be so much focusing on enforcement of the bylaws, which I already said what are some of the issues with the bylaws. Whereas in the policy, there is a strong focus on adopting a developmental approach, which speaks to understanding what the current context of the city is, and the fact that there needs to be there's a need to start from a point of knowledge, a point of data. We are informed by data. How many informal traders do we actually have in the city? And I think that's where the city needs to start off by doing a registration in terms of understanding the number of traders in the city, because I believe you cannot plan unless you've got data to back up that plan. So that's one of the things that the city needs to do. It also needs to understand some critical issues also in relation to informal trading. I think the issue of infrastructure and services is one of those issues that is critical, but it is not addressed. I mean, we still have traders who are in the inner city, but they don't have access to water. They don't have access to storage facilities. They don't have access to rubbish bins. So those are some of the critical issues that I think the city still needs to engage with. And it's not something that the municipality can just come up with a plan on their own. I think there's a range of stakeholders that they need to engage with, including the traders themselves.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mamokete Modiba, Senior Researcher at the Gauteng City Region Observatory, 23 minutes past 4.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Let's look at something that I must admit I have really known very, very little about this. We're going to spend a moment talking about the problem of bladder cancer and the fact that in South Africa now, for the first time in 15 years, there is underway a urological clinical trial that people may be interested in learning more about. Our guest is Dr. Steve Cornish. He's a urologist based in Joburg and also the co-head of the Johannesburg Academic Urological Association. Dr. Cornish, welcome and thanks very much for giving us your time. Bladder cancer, first of all, I don't know how common it is, but what are the key things we need to know about it? If you could set those out just to set the scene for the rest of our conversation. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Perlman. Thank you to you for this interview, and hello to all your audience. Bladder cancer is quite common. It depends on where you live in the world, but it ranges between the 7th and the 10th most common cancer that human beings can get.
Right.
Its biggest association is with smoking. People find that hard to understand, how smoking can give you bladder cancer. But if you understand that all those toxins that you inhale have to be got rid of, and the kidney gets rid of them, and all those toxins then are in the urine and go into your bladder.
Mm-hmm.
And usually people it becomes prevalent in the 50s and 60s. And then obviously going on into older life as well, with a slight preponderance towards men rather than women. But bladder cancer usually presents, but not always, as seeing blood in the urine,
mm-hmm.
which is one of the symptoms that will make people definitely go off to a doctor to seek advice. You can also have irritable symptoms like you have a bladder infection, as another way of it presenting.
So, well, I spoke at the beginning, Dr. Cornish, about a trial now, the first in South Africa for over 15 years. You sent us some notes that said the TB vaccine BCG was being used with some success to control bladder cancer, but then there's a resistance that develops. And this trial, as I understand it, has been framed in the context of that resistance. Tell us more.
Okay, that's correct. So BCG has been the standard of treatment since the 1970s. BCG is the vaccine that's actually used to vaccinate children against tuberculosis.
Right.
But it was discovered in the 70s when they were investigating BCG for treating various cancers that it did work very well against bladder cancer. And it's been the gold standard ever since the 1970s. It's important to understand a little bit more about bladder cancer so it makes sense why someone would get BCG given to put into their bladders.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of bladder cancers are what we call superficial. In other words, they just involve the lining of the bladder. And those tumors are to a large degree treatable with the intent of keeping you, depending on how aggressive they are, under control for the rest of your life. Unfortunately, the more aggressive ones tend to occur more commonly and require more aggressive therapy. And that's where medications like BCG came into, treating people with the high-grade superficial bladder cancers. One of your main goals with bladder cancer is to treat the cancers as soon as possible,
right,
and prevent them from becoming invasive where they grow into the wall of the bladder. That changes the paradigm completely, and you now end up, unfortunately, it is changing now, but most people would end up losing their bladder. And that's a major life-changing circumstance, believe you me.
So Dr. Cornish, the trial then, what is the trial all about?
So what's different about the trial? It's the first novel way of treating bladder cancer with an immunotherapy. It's the first new one that we've had. BCG in itself is an immunotherapy. It stimulates your body's immune system inside the bladder to attack the tumor cells. But for reasons, there are multiple, and I don't think this is the forum to go into, the bladder cancers, especially in the more aggressive high-grade ones, learn how to defeat the BCG treatment. And we use this term BCG refractory, which means that patients become resistant to the BCG, and now you have to start considering more aggressive forms of therapy, including ending up with losing your bladder. So this new drug, which has been developed in America, it's under the trade name Anktiva, and it works in 3 different ways to restore the effects of BCG back on bladder cancers. The first thing the Anktiva does is it makes the cancer visible again to your body's immune system and to the BCG, because the cancer is able to evade your immune system. And because the cancer is occurring in elderly people in general, the immune system is not as good as it is in younger people. The second thing that the Anktiva does is it creates memory cells. Now, this is a novel thing.
Yes.
You require memory cells for your body's immune system. So if, for example, you get exposed to an infection you had as a child, your body will recognize it later in life and immediately go to war against that infection, and you're horribly sick.
Okay, we're going to try and pick up on some of those issues in a moment, but we do need to just give you the very latest business news, and we'll get some details, particularly if you have been listening and you are interested in perhaps finding out more about this trial. We'll get some details from Dr. Cornish in a moment. Time for business.
EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis, a very good afternoon to you.
Afternoon, John. Good day on the JSE All Share, up 1.28% at 108,753 points. Financials up 1%, industrials nearly up 0.6%, and then resources a strong day there, up 2.8%. John, you may remember yesterday in the US, 2 CEOs of 2 of the big banks basically warning of a sort of correction in markets, particularly around AI stocks or tech stocks, and that had a little bit of an impact, and I think that might just be what's pushing gold up slightly and pushing people back into resources. But that said, the Foschini Group are leading the charge. They're up 4.79% after a couple of days of losses. Spar up by 4.6%. Truworths up 4.5%. Goldfields also strongly up 4%. They said the attributable gold production for the quarter to the end of September was up by 6%. The company says its all-in costs were down by 11%. And then Volterra, the platinum miner, they're up 3.64%. Interesting though, Mr. Price also up quite strongly, up nearly 3%. And Optasia, the newcomer yesterday to the JSE, they're up 2.68% on their second full day of trading. Cell C confirming today they're going to list on the JSE Blue, previously known as Blue Label. Blue owns the prepaid company that owns shares in Cell C. Those shares will be sold through a private placement to qualified investors. Cell C says the listing will allow them to streamline their balance sheet and to help it implement its brand. Cellc's battled a little bit. There's a thing called the curse of the third operator. They seem to be trying to get away from that. Italtal down 2%. Life Healthcare down 1.83%. Advitech down 1% on the day. In the US, markets only opening now, of course, because of the time change. But US private payrolls did rebound. This is according to an ADP employment report, John, not the official Labor Bureau statistics agency in the States, because that is still closed. But it does suggest that there was an increase in jobs in the last month. But US stock index futures did go lower yesterday after yesterday's big losses, and still more concerns, I think, about AI stocks. The gold price, $3,976.03. Platinum, $1,538.50. Brent crude, $64.12. The rand to the dollar, 17.43 to the euro, 20.02 to the British pound, 22.71. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
28 minutes to 5. Let's bring you the latest eyewitness news with Mbali Dlamini. Problems in Tshwane, it would seem.
That's correct, John. A very good afternoon. A technical error has resulted in the Tshwane municipality double billing over 11,000 customers for the controversial city cleansing levy. The municipality insists the error has been rectified and the affected customers will be credited in their statements at the end of the month. Earlier this year, the municipality introduced a monthly tariff of 194 rands charged to businesses and homes that use private waste collectors. The tariff was ruled unlawful by the Gauteng High Court, but the city has now approached the Supreme Court of Appeal to overturn that decision. Tshwane spokesperson Lindela Mashego.
Following a detailed technical review and verification exercise, the system has now been reprogrammed to ensure that cleansing charges are only applied to properties that do not receive municipal waste collection services.
Let's move to the courts now, where murder-accused Tiffany Nicole Meek has told the Roodepoort Magistrates Court that someone tried to kill her in prison. Meek, who is accused of murdering her 11-year-old son Jaden Lee Meek, appeared in court this morning. In May this year, her son's body was found in the Vleehof complex where he and his mother lived. Ntokozo Khumalo reports.
During her short court appearance today, Tiffany Nicole Meek informed the magistrates about her attack. Her lawyer, who was representing her for the last time today, revealed that she was stabbed by a fellow inmate about 2 weeks ago. The motive behind this attack remains unclear. However, it's understood Meek had been receiving threats in the lead-up to the stabbing. Meek's former legal representative, Novin Naidu.
She has received medical attention at the prison, and there's also an investigation that is ongoing. The perpetrator was apprehended in prison, Your Worship. So just for the court to know that there was a stabbing incident and she has received stitches to her arm.
The case was postponed to the 20th of November for a pre-trial hearing. Ntokozo Khumalo, Eyewitness News.
The Employment and Labour Department says it's experiencing challenges processing compensation claims submitted by victims of the George building collapse. 34 construction workers lost their lives and 28 others were injured when a 5-story partially built structure caved in last year in May. The survivors and families of the deceased have been waiting for 18 months to get answers about compensation. The department says its compensation fund received 68 claims, 15 from South Africans and 53 from foreign nationals. The department's Millie Reiters says they couldn't process some of the claims due to a lack of proper documentation.
We've also had Home Affairs that confirmed that the 53 were illegal foreign nationals. There was one that had a work permit, but it had expired. When it comes to Social Security, we need documentation in order for the Department of Employment and Labour to finalize the processing of claims.
And Nigeria has once again told foreign diplomats that allegations that it is a violator of religious freedom by the United States are fundamentally misinformed. Nigeria and the United States have been embroiled in a diplomatic dispute since U.S. President Donald Trump said he was naming Nigeria a country of particular concern. Claiming that move was over the killing of Christians by radical Islamists, the West African nation is home to conflicts that experts say kill both Muslims and Christians, often without distinction. Trump later threatened military strikes on the country. A cloudy Thursday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, with morning fog patches and afternoon thunder showers, a low of 15 degrees across the province and a high of between 25 as well as 27 degrees.
In Edenvale, heading towards Bedfordview, traffic sluggish. R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Kilulis interchange. Driving through the Joburg CBD, that's coming from the Germiston area, slow-moving traffic. M2 westbound between Heidelberg Road and the Crown interchange. Also in Parktown, travelling towards Boysons. Expect some delays on the M1 southbound between Killarney Bends and the Crown interchange.
A top story in EWN, a technical error has resulted in the Tshwane municipality double billing over 11,000 customers for the controversial city cleansing levy.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
Stuart James, why were you in Parliament? There is a lot of evidence pertaining to the cases that I had opened surrounding the killings that the PKTT were investigating.
What is the price here that people are fighting for?
What they're fighting for is total control of SAPS. Whoever controls SAPS wields the biggest stick.
You emphasize General Khumalo, he knows me well.
He knows me well. There's a lot of murders and there's a lot of people that have been protected by Lieutenant General Khumalo. We've got the evidence.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Did you know one company's waste could be another's raw material? The Gauteng Industrial Symbiosis Program is a free facilitation service that connects businesses to turn waste into opportunity. In its 10-year journey, it has helped divert over 290,000 tons of waste from landfills and reduce 1.5 million tons of greenhouse gas emissions. Join the movement, save costs, energy, and grow a greener economy. Visit industrialefficiency.co.za to learn more. The Gauteng Industrial Symbiosis Program, a decade of industrial sustainability, unlocking growth opportunities for SMMEs through industrial symbiosis.
You could spend 10 minutes waiting for the microwave to beep or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. SMS out to 45142. Like 55-year-old Stefan, who now only pays an unbelievably low 611 Rand a month for his 2024 Suzuki Jimny. With Outsurance, you can drive with confidence. With up to a whopping 5 million Rand third-party liability cover that covers damage to the other person's vehicle in an accident, you can rest assured. SMS out to 45142. After switching, 55-year-old Andre now pays only 776 Rand a month for his 2024 Toyota Urban Cruiser. Get a quote. If Outsurance can't beat what you're currently paying, ask them for 500 Rand. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Savings or cash, you have nothing to lose. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
LLB graduates can fast-track their legal career with the Law Society of South Africa's PVT School for Legal Practice. LPC accredited, this 4-month practice-ready course, which is taught by practicing lawyers, can reduce your PVT contract by 12 months for admission. Study by day, after hours, or via distance at campuses nationwide. The first 2026 intake runs from January to April. Applications close 31 October 2025. Apply now at lssalead.org.za. That's lssalead.org.za.
Drive home with John Perlman
On 702. Let's walk the talk.
Okay, sport coming up shortly, but we just wanted to finish up our conversation with Dr. Steve Cornish to reintroduce him and the subject. He is co-head of the Johannesburg Academic Urological Association, and we were talking about bladder cancer and in particular a urological trial, the first in South Africa in 15 years that is being conducted. Dr. Cornish, welcome back and apologies for the interruption. If you could just talk to us about the trial and how people who may be interested in what's being offered might potentially benefit from it.
Yeah, good question. Just quickly to finish off the last point, your immune system also by this new drug gets supersized,
right?
Like a McDonald's burger. So that's why the three factors, the improving the immune system, making it supercharged, creating memory, and then making the tumor visible is what helps make this quite a unique drug.
Right.
And the trials so far in America have shown really quite amazing results. So what we're looking for in this trial is for males or female patients who have either been recently diagnosed with a superficial bladder cancer, which has got particular features. I don't want to go into great detail because it's too technical,
yes.
But basically we're looking for high-grade bladder cancers and patients with what's called carcinoma in situ. We can have patients who are new, in other words, just been diagnosed recently, and we can have had patients who have been on existing treatments as long as they meet certain requirements for the trial, like not having had any BCG in the last 3 years, and not having been given chemotherapy. There are more other rules laid down by the trial, but when patients, if they want to call us to see whether they would fit into the trial, we would discuss what those criteria would be with them.
Thank you very much, Dr. Steve Cornish. And if anyone is interested in that, just get in touch with us and we will provide the details for connecting. And obviously, you would have a conversation and a detailed one about what's involved and make your own decision about where that might fit in with A, your condition, and B, the treatment that you're looking to secure. Dr. Steve Cornish joining us from the Johannesburg Academic Urological Association, 17 minutes to 5.
EWN Sport.
Tolakele Mganga with the very latest. Good afternoon to you.
Afternoon, John. Kaizer Chiefs' youngsters Mduduzi Shabalala and Mfundo Vilakazi led from the front as the team claimed a 4-1 win over Orbit College to move joint top of the Betway Premiership with Mamelodi Sundowns. Shabalala netted a brace while Vilakazi also got on the score sheet as the Glamour Boys extended their league unbeaten run to 6 games. Cedric Kaze spoke after the game about Vilakazi's development following an impressive campaign with the under-20 national team.
Technical players, they tend to rely only on the technicality that they have. This is a PSL, it's physical, people running over you, there are duels, and it's an area that we wanted him to improve on, because at some point you can't go forward, but you need to keep the ball, you need to use your physicality. But we know that it's a player that can create the difference in the last 30 meters of the opponent box.
A 4-game schedule this evening, including Golden Arrows at home to Orlando Pirates, while Mamelodi Sundowns host TS Galaxy. Keanu Cupido says the Brazilians are desperate to get back to winning ways following their draw with the Buccaneers on Saturday.
Always want to win each and every game, and I think it was up for us just to show up on the day. We let ourselves down. It's a game where we wanted to win and build the confidence also going into this next game as well, and then after that CAF as well. But we know at Sundowns you need to forget about the previous game because there's always a next game. So we came in, we're preparing for TX Galaxy now. We had to let go of the Pirates game where we let ourselves down as players.
Match day 4 in the UEFA Champions League will see Chelsea playing Karabag while Manchester City are up against Borussia Dortmund. Pep Guardiola has dismissed suggestions that the Germans will have an advantage, having enjoyed 2 extra days of rest.
It's what it is. No word's going to change the schedule because we have a lot of games competitions. It's what it is. So Germany and France, all the people in Champions League try to play on Friday to have more games, and he is completely the opposite. And I don't train in England. I go to train in Germany. I'm going to train in French. So that's why it's what it is.
And the Proteas will look to level their ODI series with Pakistan when the two teams clash in the second game tomorrow. Yesterday, South Africa lost by 2 wickets after a 3rd wicket partnership of 91 off 111 balls between Mohammad Rizwan and Salman Agha set up their victory. Kurban Bosch had this assessment of what went wrong for South Africa.
Yeah, as I think the partnership between Rizwan and Salman was a good one. I think if we managed to get one of them there, we could have really put that the back end of their team under pressure, their batters. So it was one of those that we were 1 wicket away from really sealing this game, and they batted beautifully, and credit to them.
Tolakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Okay, I wonder what it's like out on the roads. If there's anything you see, by the way, that we might have missed, do drop us a note on 072 702 1702. Getting a little bit dense and knotted and gnarled out in Midrand. Where exactly?
Yeah, that's in the Glen Austin area, John, on Allendale Road between the N1 and Zuurfontein Road. Also still in Midrand heading towards Centurion. There's slow-moving traffic on the N1 northbound between the Between to Change and New Road, while in Calvin roadworks causing about a 20-minute delay. This is on the N3 south between the Between to Change and London Road. Edenville traveling towards Bedford View, there's still slow-moving traffic. R24 westbound between Edenville Road and the Gilulis interchange in the Joburg CBD. Also expect delays heading towards Boysons. This is M2 westbound between Heidelberg Road and the Crown interchange. And finally in Irene, expect some delays on Main Road approaching Nolme Pierce Drive. I'll have your next Eyewitness News traffic update just after 5.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, 13 minutes to 5. Now, yesterday, very interesting interview on The Money Show with Stephen Krutis. He was chatting to Chifiwa Chibengwa, who is the CEO of the Tourism Business Council. They talked about how tourism numbers in South Africa are very much up. But then there was also, I think, an important conversation about how heavily weighted that tourism interest in South Africa is. And I'm talking about people who are not necessarily just coming in to do shopping and practical things in South Africa, but people who are holidaying tend to go in vast numbers to the Western Cape, and they go to the Kruger National Park. I'm talking, of course, Greater Kruger, because they would go to some of the private lodges all the way along the Kruger fence, and in particular concentrating that game reserve interest in the southern part of the Kruger National Park and the parks adjacent. So the question that occurred to me was this, because they were talking about, well, how do we get this tourism bounty to actually spread to different parts of the country? And I thought I would ask you this question. What's a part of South Africa that you think tourists would absolutely love, visitors to South Africa would absolutely love? And secondly, how would you get them there? I don't mean transport-wise, but what would you say, tell them, market to them as a way of enticing and encouraging them? Say, come on, yes, go to Cape Town by all means, do some wine farms in the Western Cape if that's your thing, and you must come and see our magnificent game reserves. But as well as that, you ought to go to Tolakele Mganga, fill in the blank or some blanks.
I think the key to marketing is I'm someone that loves like an itinerary. If you're going to say to me, here's a 4-day package to go to Knysna, for an example, tell me each day what is available for me to do and mix it between like leisure and like nice girly things, but also something that's just a little bit different. Yes. So I think we were so busy on trying to be like, come here, relax, and just drink and lay about it. No, tell me what's available for me to do. Like, for example, when I went to Knysna, I only discovered the Featherbed Nature Reserve, like literally the night before I had gone. But if I hadn't just kind of wanted to find out what the attractions around the area were, I would have spent the day doing something completely different. So I think there need to be more inclusive packages that cater for all the adventurous and the person in you that will find it interesting to spend 4 days or 3 days in an area and enjoying that area.
Yeah, it's such an important point that it can't just be a destination, but it's got to be a set of things. And maybe people who think, oh, I don't want every single hour of the day planned, but at least give me a comprehensive menu with an indication of what there is to do, how long it takes, what it costs, and so on. How about you, Karabo Chale? Give us a corner of South Africa that you think tourists would love, but secondly, sell it to us, please.
So, I used to go to the Grahamstown Arts Festival, the City of Saints. So they have beautiful church buildings there. Not just that, during the Arts Festival, you can explore a whole lot of all different kinds of arts, from theater, art galleries, music, comedy sessions. And it's just a whole big festival where you just also meet whole different kinds of people, and it runs for 2 weeks, so you can either spend a week there or even the whole 2 weeks. You are going to be entertained throughout.
Yeah, and the energy there is fabulous. I've been twice and really enjoyed it. Mimi says drive to the Tsitsikamma National Park, drive along the garden route from Gqeberha to Cape Town. Speaking of driving, go Karabo. I mean, Tolakele.
And I think that's another thing. I know we complain all the time about the roads. That's why a lot of people would rather fly. But the journey when you're driving with someone, I've done a trip to Nelspruit with a friend recently. My favorite route, I'm not going to lie, driving to Mbombela, because they are constantly fixing the roads. They're also making sure that even when they are working, they're giving you proper directions. If you're going to sell it as a driving experience, please just make sure that the road is safe for me when I'm driving, where even at night I can say, okay, I'm willing to drive like early in the morning or late at night because I know that I will be protected on the roads. It's those little things that will decide whether or not someone is willing to take up a place as a holiday destination.
Yeah, and of course, as if people are on the roads, they're spending money along the way, they are getting to know other places and saying, oh, that looks like a really cool place to visit. I ought to come back. That's how you build, I would have thought, the wider interest in tourism destinations. For me, I love the drive to the Cape, either Eastern or Western, through the Karoo. And I've got some favorite Karoo destinations, staying on a farm, eating Karoo lamb, which is absolutely unique and is designated as such. But your tourism gems, away from the Western Cape, please, away from the conservation wonderland that is that Mpumalanga Lowveld, some other places, and tell us, crucially, how you would get tourists to go there. Market it for us, please, on 072 702 1702.
Drive home with John Perlman
On 702, let's walk the talk.
7 minutes now to 5. Minding your money is what we call it. Wednesday's the day when we do it at this time. Now, scammers are absolutely the bane of many people's lives, partly because they often catch you when you're busy. I think I've got pretty good at picking out the ones that come via the telephone, but email, some of them can be well concealed. So how do we get better at picking out the people who are out there to rob us? Paul Rulofse, certified financial planner, joins us as he does every Wednesday. Paul, a very good afternoon to you. I would assume scammers are getting better. What are some of the key tricks that we should be watching out for? Good afternoon. Let's try one more time, Paul. Okay, we'll get Paul and his phone line. Okay, that is a connection, but not a very easy to understand one. We'll sort it.
702 Afternoons.
with Relebogile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
If we look at the fact that our economy is so bad, but gambling has increased, what do you think the deeper meanings are?
People are just absolutely not comfortable with their income, and that is fully understandable because gambling, for example, is often advertised as an easy win. So people will sort of hear that and go, okay, with minimal effort, I've got a chance to double my money or triple or quadruple or even further, but it's actually not. A much, much better alternative is to look at a side hustle.
Erika Liebenberg, Head of Communications at Just Money.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
Access to the internet is vital for any country to grow. That's why the recent 6.75 billion rand digital infrastructure deal that Standard Bank Corporate and Investment Banking facilitated between Telkom and an Actors-led consortium is so transformational for South Africa. It unlocks growth and provides internet access to underserved communities who will now have access to the internet for the very first time. Search CIB Stories of Impact to watch the full story.
Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Solve the spinning saga with HollywoodBet's Spinner Zonke Mystery Parcel. Dive into a world of secret escapes and magical marvels, and you could win a share of 1 million rand in cash and bonus bets. Bet 2 rand or more on selected Playtech games and get lost in the scintillating suspense every Wednesday from 2:30 to 8:30 p.m. and Sunday from 4:30 to 10:30 p.m. Ready to unleash your winning streak? Log in and bet now.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008.
The G20 Summit coming to Johannesburg is a stepping stone towards a brighter future for the city. Josie My Josie has launched the Babize Bonke campaign to shine a spotlight on some of the extraordinary champions who are reshaping Johannesburg from the ground up.
My name is Grant Ngogo. When Galanjie first opened, I was 14 years old and worked my way up, and now I lead the organization at the age of 27. From the 51st floor of Ponte, we run inner city tours and community centers at the bottom, challenging stereotypes about Hillbrow, Berea, and Yuval.
Josie My Josie is making the invisible visible, giving the voiceless a voice. It's a movement for the people, by the people, creating a city that we can proudly call Josie My Josie. Come see how Josie does it. A city that's alive, ready, and rising. Prime Media and 702 are proud sponsors of Josie My Josie.
Josie My Josie Babize Bonke champion Grant Ngobo will be interviewed on Weekend Breakfast by Gugs Mhlungu just after 8 a.m. on Sunday morning. Don't miss it.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
Right, email scammers. Let's get back into it. Paul Rulofse. Paul, start from the beginning, if you will. I assume the scammers are getting smarter. What exactly should we be looking out for as key warning signs? Good afternoon again.
Hi there, John. The latest trend is now to look at your invoices and other payment methods that are emailed to you, and they're busy scouting them. And what they do is they replicate them as good as new. In fact, sometimes I even make them up using AI and other tools to really polish them up to say that this is the authentic person that needs the money as you usually pay. So let's talk about an invoice. You regularly pay this invoice every month towards a certain supplier. But what they've done is they've taken that invoice and they've actually manipulated the banking details, which you don't pay too much attention to. And they've got this in the background. Then the money goes straight off into another account. And you and I both know, John, to try and get that money back, the banks just don't do that straight away. It's a big process, and they don't just simply reverse it. You've got to make all sorts of applications and qualifications. And what it's set them up with now is this very polished and authentic-looking payment medium, which now they say, look, you owe us the money, and here's the invoice. So it's becoming more and more of that type of trend. And inside that trend as well, they're actually looking in the backdrop with your email settings, and they're saying, well, look, every time you receive a particular invoice, they can set it up inside your email settings to say, give us notification and send it to an alternative address, which they're monitoring, which will actually say, look, they've got an invoice going, so let's set it all up now as if we're the real people and send it and get it to you before the other person can do it.
Yeah, I mean, it really is quite artful. And I mean, if you've got a couple of payments that you have to make a month, that's one thing. But I would have thought this is especially difficult for small business and larger, that, you're making so many payments. You don't have an opportunity to check every single one unless you have to build that into your systems.
Well, that's really where it goes now, John, and that's a great point, because now you might have to, in your business systems, have two people watching over, not just one person allocated and do it as you used to. You need another set of eyes over this project to make sure that someone's cross-checking someone else. But it also leans now down to us as businessmen. You're now going to be more suspicious about the invoices that come through.
Right.
And now what do we do? Now we're losing trust in the system, so now we have to make another step or a layer of security to make sure that the payments are going that way. And then we might have to then get hold of the supplier and say, is this really your bank account? Send a smaller amount. If it's a big transaction, you want to send a little bit to see if they actually got it, and then pay the rest of it over. But where it really leans, John, if I can just squeeze this in quickly, is that where you must go back to is your email address, your email system, your email settings. Make sure that you change that password as quickly as possible, or as often as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And in the same breath, I would encourage our listeners to have an OTP, or a second layer, a one-time PIN number, that every time someone tries to access your particular email, the OTP comes to you, the one-time PIN comes to your cell phone, and then that kind of blocks them. It's another way of trying to keep these guys out. Because, John, we just have to be that more diligent to keep up with it.
Thank you so much, Paul Rulofse, certified financial planner, minding your money at the same time next Wednesday. It's 1 minute past 5.
This is EWN.
Madlanga Commission hears that Mchunu was briefed about a probe into the Big Five cartel, and police finally have their hands on Brown Mogotsi's devices. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Crime intelligence boss Dumsani Khumalo has told the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry this afternoon that he briefed Police Minister Senzo Mchunu in January about investigations into the so-called Big Five cartel. Khumalo says the unit identified several senior cops who were allegedly in cahoots with the Big Five cartel. The group includes criminally accused entrepreneurs Gatiso KT Molefe and Vusimu Kat Matlala, who allegedly captured the criminal justice system in Gauteng. Khumalo has identified the cops suspected of assisting this cartel.
Some I'll be able to name them because they've come up in the evidence that has been led to the Commission. Lieutenant General Sibiya, Major General Shibiri, Brigadier Nkwashu, Captain Mahotle by that time.
In other cartel-related matters in Parliament, Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia says criminal cartels have corrupted the procurement and supply chain systems in the country's health sector. He says Tembisa Hospital is not the only healthcare facility faced with this problem. Kachalia was giving evidence today before Parliament's ad hoc committee investigating allegations of police corruption. Babalondense reports.
The Special Investigating Unit revealed recently that syndicates are responsible for the looting of over 2 billion rand at the Tembisa Hospital. It said the money was siphoned off through a complex web of fraud and corruption. Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia raised the matter at the ad hoc committee today, saying cartels have corrupted the health sector. Kachalia says the problem also goes beyond just the Tembisa Hospital.
Tembisa Hospital has a problem of endemic systemic corruption. And I'm quite sure that it's not the only hospital. And now we're learning that it's also a problem of organized crime, that there are cartels corrupting our systems of procurement in the health sector.
Kachalia says they are now recommending an investigating body within the police to go into institutions and investigate any procurement crimes. Babalondense, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Let's move to Johannesburg now, where nearly a month after a search warrant was issued for controversial businessman Brown Mokgotsi, police have finally seized his digital devices. Officers engaged Mokgotsi in Joburg today over an alleged attempt on his life and claims that he interfered in police investigations. Mokgotsi claims that on Monday evening, unknown gunmen opened fire at his vehicle in Vosleras in Ekurhuleni. Police have been searching for him for several weeks now. Police spokesperson Mate.
The SAPS has successfully executed the search and seizure warrant that was issued for the 16th of October in Mahikeng for Mr. Brown Mokgotsi. The team investigating the fraud, corruption and defeating the ends of justice case has also seized certain devices from him. The team met at Brown Mokgotsi's lawyer's offices in Johannesburg.
Gold is trading at $3,966.30 an ounce. The rand is at 17.49 to the dollar, 22.81 to the pound, 20.09 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $64.89 a barrel.
Bumper-to-bumper traffic in Midrand. That's on Allendale Road between the N1 and Zuurfontein. We still have heavy delays. That's driving through Calvin Alex area. Roadworks causing about a 20-minute delay. N3 South between the Bacloon Interchange and London Road. And there's also bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is in Bedfordview. N3 South between Linksfield Road and Van Buren.
In your sport, Mamelodi Sundowns look to return to winning ways in the Betway Premiership. Serbian top-flight coach dies during a match. And Kurban Bosch doesn't believe that bowling inexperience is costing the Proteas against Pakistan. The top story in EWN, crime intelligence boss Dumsani Khumalo has told the Madlanga Commission today that he briefed Police Minister Senzo Mchunu in January about investigations into the so-called Big Five cartel.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
7:02 Drive. It is 6 minutes past 5. Good to have you with us on the show. Coming up over the next half an hour or so, the city of Tshwane is in some significant difficulty, it would seem, after the South African Local Government Bargaining Council has ruled that they do have to increase the salaries of all the employees who work for Tshwane. This is something that's been going on for a long time. The amount of money involved is eye-watering. Close to 1.4 billion rand, we're being told, to provide these backdated salary increases. How's the city going to deal with this? We'll talk to MMC for Finance Eugene Modise at about 5:15. Important stuff happening at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Our conversation on that with our EWN colleague, Oren Singh, who's been looking at this closely, and also some other issues that came up yesterday. More on that with Oren a little bit later. I asked you if you had any ideas about places that you would send people to, little corners of South Africa that could really benefit from tourism. And in a funny way, if we could spread the tourism love and load, it would benefit all of us, because one of the points made in Stephen Curtis's interview with the Tourism Business Council yesterday is that as places like, for example, Cape Town get more and more packed, the prices go up, and that affects all of us, even if we are internal tourists. Sharon says so many beautiful places in South Africa. The roads are shocking and dangerous, and then it is so dangerous out there. I'm from Cape Town, living in Joburg. I'm planning to go on a tour to the Ponte Tower, but I'm a bit nervous because the area looks scary. Sharon, you probably are in touch with them already if you're going to Ponte, but if you are not, an organization called Dlala that has been doing those tours and other tours of inner city Joburg for many, many years. They've just been honored with a very prestigious Responsible Tourism Award in London, but you'll get them at dlalanje.org, dlalanje.org. So if you have any doubts or misgivings about your tour, I suspect they'd be able to guide you through what you need to do to feel more comfortable. Give them a call. 702 Drive, it's 9 minutes past 5.
EWN Traffic.
EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. At 9 minutes past 5, problems in Bryanston once again. Karabo Chale with those details and everything else you need to know.
Yeah, Bryanston heading towards Fourways. Traffic congested on the N1 southbound between Rivonia Road and Winnie Mandela Drive. Also bumper-to-bumper traffic in the Midrand area on Allendale Road between the N1 and Zierfontein. We still have those roadworks causing about a 20-minute delay. That's if you are leaving Calvin Alex heading towards Germiston. On the N3 southbound between the Bethlehem Interchange and London Road. Bedford View also further down the N3 south. Traffic also heavily backed up. This is between Linksfield Road and Van Buren. Edenvale heading into Bedford View. Traffic sluggish on the R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Gilulis Interchange, while in the Joburg CBD we still have some delays on the M2 westbound from Heidelberg Road all the way to the Crown Interchange, Parktown. That's heading towards Boyson's. Traffic pressure M1 south between Killarney Bends and the double-decker section. And finally in Irene we still have slow-moving traffic, Main Road approaching Nelmay Pierce Drive. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance pointsmen can't help with your leaky tap, but they can ease the traffic congestion so you can get to the hardware store in time to avoid a flood in your bathroom. With the Outsurance pointsmen on the roads for the past 20 years, we can all get where we need to be quickly and safely. Outsurance really means it when they say you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702, show them some love online using #pointsmenlove, licensed insurer and FSP.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
The special broadcast of the Clement Maniatella show live from West.
If you just go back to that protest and people was fighting for a basic human right where SAPS came in and treated us like dogs. SAPS was here all over the place every day in our community. Why can that not happen when our children's lives are being lost here on the streets of Westbury?
Yeah, Councillor Marilyn Smoos, Westbury Ward 82 Councillor.
Clement Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Hey, sorry for the voice note, but listen, I was there. I saw the receipt. Like, literally. That thing was long. It was giving scroll vibes and everything. Chomi, with this new Discount Better Rewards card, you get 10% off instantly. But like instantly. On over 140 brands. So look, I don't want to be like dramatic or anything, but your Discount till slip never looked better. Okay, bye.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable. You receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. Our range of plans include cover for you, your spouse, children, and extended family. Plans include cover for civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Whether it's protection orders, gender-based violence, uncontested divorce, or poor service, your Clientele Legal lawyer will be there to assist you. Our services are convenient. Simply pick up the phone and call your lawyer or send us an email and we'll get back to you. All plans include a bail benefit of up to 5,000 Rand and we'll go to the police station and pay it for you. Plus, Clientele Legal offers you 24-hour telephonic legal advice. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
This festive, turn your family meetings into family eatings with the Nando's Festive Fill-Up Meal. A full flame grilled chicken, 2 sharing sides, 4 cheesy rissoles, 2 Cabo Societies, 2 Nando's rolls, and a 1.5-liter Coca-Cola for only $3.99 to enjoy at your place. And if your family meeting is at our place, get 40 Rand off. Nando's. Oh, what a place.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
So, to the Madlanga Commission in a moment. Just a bit of tourism first, though. Places that people ought to go and see that are not well known. Eldon, thank you. He says, I would advise tourists to visit Hluthankungu, Place of Mist, also now called Stewartsville, which is located between Itopo and Umzinto on R612 in the KZN Midlands. Lush rolling hills, stunning scenery, verdant vales, which can be seen for kilometers on end. Eldon adds the area is known for fishing, and the entire surrounding places were described by the late great author Alan Paton as God's country because of the beauty and the stunning views, and adds there's a top quality B&B accommodation facility located close by. I was asking you for those places. How do we make sure people don't just go to the Western Cape and the Kruger National Park when they visit South Africa? Your favorite places, please, and sell them to us, as well as Eldon has just done in the case of Hluthankungu. Get us on 072 702 1702. It's 5:15.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Right, let's go to the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, where the head of crime intelligence, General Dumisani Khumalo, has been continuing with presenting his statement and his evidence. Oren Singh is our EWN reporter who's been there and joins us now. Oren, a very good afternoon to you. Before we talk about today's testimony, yesterday, Lieutenant General Khumalo highlighted the role of someone called Stuart James Sharnek, who he described as someone with a criminal record and a criminal past, who had very close relationships with Deputy National Commissioner General Shadrach Sibia. You had a chance to speak to Stuart James Sharnek. What were the key things that came out of that conversation?
I think first and foremost, John, he clarified what the 18 convictions that Dumisani Khumalo had referred to, because I think it was suggested yesterday by the head of crime intelligence, Dumisani Khumalo, that Stuart Sharnek was involved in several cases of hijacking and theft and so forth, theft of motor vehicles. But when we spoke to him, he clarified that this was one case in which he was charged on 18 counts, and this related to the buying and selling of vehicles. He, together with other businessmen and police officers in KZN about a decade ago, were charged regarding this in where they were buying and selling parts of vehicles that were believed to then be stolen or hijacked vehicles. But he came across quite strongly to be in support of Shadrach Sibia. He admitted that or claimed that he's not Shadrach Sibia's bodyguard, but he's someone that's in business, and he previously was in construction and in that sort of industry. And that at one stage when Shadrach Sibia was suspended and they took away his work vehicles and his cell phones and firearms, he felt it necessary to provide Sibia with a vehicle, but not just any vehicle, John. It was a B6 Toyota Hilux, and B6 suggests that this is an armor-plated vehicle, can stop high caliber rounds and grenades and so forth. So we had a long chat with him yesterday. People can catch that on YouTube should they want to expand on it a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, the unanswered questions, I mean, there'll be presumably more delving into the nature of the matters he was charged with, but it does, certainly for me, doesn't make the question of why the Deputy National Commissioner of Police has a relationship with this person to the point where he's lending him vehicles. But be that as it may, what came up today, Oren?
Today was quite slow. I'd probably liken it to that of a history lesson in that we went through from start to finish on the political killings task team. When the task team was established in 2018, that interministerial committee set up to oversee its functions, going into the letter that Senzo Mkunu issued on the 31st of December to Fani Masimola and instructing him to disband the task team immediately, up to the budgets of this task team and how much they were granted for the 2025-26 period in that of 27 million. So Dumisani Khumalo is going from kind of inception of the task team to where we are currently, and we know currently, John, that the task team is still functioning.
Yes.
They haven't been disbanded, and they're still operating as usual. They're carrying out search and seizure operations across the country, and conducted one at Shadrach Sibiya's premises last month, and also conducted one at that of the business premises of Brown Mkhotsi last month in the Northwest as well.
And in terms of what we might expect next, what's coming up?
Unclear at this present moment, John. We know that we ran a bit over time. The commission normally concludes at 4 p.m., but Advocate Adila Hassim, who's been leading Dumisani Khumalo's evidence, requested that she just wrap up with his evidence today. We do understand that Khumalo is expected to appear in court tomorrow at the Pretoria Regional Court in relation to his ongoing fraud and corruption matter, with the appointment of that 30-year-old official within crime intelligence. He's asking for his bail conditions to be relaxed so he can return back to work. But we're yet to confirm whether that's the case, whether he is going to appear in court tomorrow. But we do know that he's expected to conclude his testimony a little bit later than usual today, and we're not clear yet who's going to appear tomorrow.
Thanks so much. Oren Singh, EWN reporter, as he mentioned, on YouTube. You can check out that conversation he had with Stuart James Sharnek, who came up in the testimony from General Dumisani Khumalo, not so much today, but yesterday. 5:20 on 702 Drive.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good afternoon, John, and the afternoon team. Now, I am not well traveled, but I've been to the St. Lucia estuary and the Ismangaliso Wetland Park on the northern coast of KwaZulu-Natal. And to me, these places hold a very special place in my heart because it was a very memorable stay when I was there. And, the hippos at night in the evening and, the water monitor lizard along the Ismangaliso Wetland Park and the sheer beauty. I am originally from KZN, but I was blown away by how beautiful this place is and how calming it was, the flowers and what have you. And these are the places that I would recommend for anyone who wants to, experience the beauty of South Africa. Tandanani, Boxburg.
Hi, John. Battlegrounds, Isandlwana, Rock Strip, Fugitive Trips, amazing locations, amazing stories told by local people. Human folly, human bravery, arrogance of youth, amazing life lessons, corporate lessons, and spectacular scenery and hospitality.
Very, very interesting. And thank you for both of those, not just the places, that you are recommending to us. And the question we asked, by the way, if you missed our introduction to this, was to say that the latest tourism numbers are great. But the one thing that is a cause for concern is how heavily weighted the international travel tourism is towards the Western Cape and the area alongside the Kruger Park. but particularly the southern part. So we're just asking you for places that you would recommend to people. Hidden gems, we don't have to set the bar hugely high because some of the places are well known. But for example, you couldn't have got a better promo for the Isimangaliso Wetland Park, St. Lucia, than we got a moment ago. So please share yours on 072 7021 702, 22 minutes past 5.
John is on X.
At John Perlman.
So this is an issue that goes quite a way back. The city of Tshwane, a number of years ago, looked to deviate from a previously agreed upon arrangement for a 3.5% salary hike. The matter has been adjudicated on by the South African Local Government Bargaining Council, and the council has said, no, you've got to comply and you've got to pay those salaries. The amount of money, the one number we've seen, and we'll get confirmation, we hope on that in a moment, is 1.4 billion rand. I think it's safe to say that the city doesn't have that. So what are they going to be doing about it? Eugene Modise is acting executive mayor and MMC for finance and joins us on 702 Drive. A very good afternoon to you, sir. I understand from statements you've made you're not going to be looking for a review of the ruling, but what then is the next step if you accept the ruling, but clearly you're not in a position to write those checks right now?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you and your listeners. Indeed, we agreed. Actually, we made that resolution as the mayoral executive committee when we became into power in October, because the matter was already in bargaining council. And the decision was that we are not going to contest, appeal, or review. And the rationale and the reason behind that is that we have seen the plight of the employees, their struggles for the past 3 to 5 years without increase. Those who are servicing loans of cars and houses, they can't, so they are struggling. But like you said, we don't have the 1.8. It's hovering around 1.8 billion rand now. But we are going to explore all avenues that we can be able to mobilize that. Remember, the clause of that verdict says we must do this within 6 months. So we've got the grace of 6 months to go and farm for that money or mobilize that resources. We are exploring.
Yeah,
Come again?
No, please finish. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, we're exploring all avenues how to mobilize resources. Remember, we just actually came at the right time wherein we managed to surpass the 4 billion rands, meaning it's possible. And now, as we speak, we have employing the service of balance sheet services, which is going to optimize our revenue. We have committees that we have established that are dealing with revenue protection, and that's why we have managed to surpass our funded target this month.
So
I'm referring to October.
So I mean, you're going to have to go out and get the money from somewhere. What is the city's current credit rating? I mean, anything you borrow will incur an interest charge. How well placed are you to get something that is not too eye-watering in terms of interest rate and the attendant charges?
Yeah, you are speaking like a commercial person. No.
I'm speaking like a taxpayer.
No, you have the background. The credit rating is plus. Remember, our credit rating improved in February, immediately after taking into power 4 or 5 months thereafter. So we are better placed to go and look for loans, which better rates. But that is not the primary of what we are going to do.
Yes.
Actually, that will be the last resort. Already we are able to collect revenue that surpassed the funded target with 108 million rands. So in the process, we are going to optimize. Like I said, we have just employed the services of balance sheet company, which will be collecting revenue on our behalf that we couldn't collect ourselves. So we have given a tender to the lawyers, which are collecting on our behalf and taking the customers to court, which are resisting. But there's a wonderful committee that we have established, which is called PMO. The primary responsibility of that management office is to look at the high-value clients, to communicate with them where they've got problems, to assist them in ensuring that they pay on time. And in the process, we make sure that we give them sustainable services, water and electricity.
Thank you very much. Eugene Mudise, Acting Executive Mayor and MMC for Finance. 1.8 billion rand. They got to come up with that in 6 months. I can't imagine that's going to be straightforward. But if you live in Tshwane and you've got some ideas about what might happen over those 6 months and how that could affect you, well, give us a call on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. It's 27 minutes past 5.
EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis, a very good afternoon to you. Rough day yesterday, better day today. Where do we stand with the markets closed, but Wall Street presumably well underway?
Indeed, John. Yes, well, better than yesterday. The JSE All Share up 1.3% at 108,796 points. Financials up 1.29. Industrials up 0.65 and resources up 2.57. So you'll remember those warnings yesterday. Could there be a correction in AI markets, etc.? That might have pushed gold and platinum up a little bit, I think, just reminding investors of where value might lie. But then kind of a strong day for consumer shares, John. The Foschini Group up over 5%. Truworths up 5% as well. And Spar up 4.5%. Mr. Price in the same game as Foschini and Truworths, they're up 3.47% on the day. All of that suggesting consumer sort of confidence is rising. Goldfields is up 4.46%. They said their attributable gold production for the quarter to the end of September was up by 6%. Their costs were significantly lower as well. So that's a good result for them. And Optasia, new to the JSE, listed just yesterday, they're up 2.94% on the day. Talking of new listings, Cell C confirming today what we've known for a while. It will be listing on the JSE. It'll go through a process where Blue, which owns the prepaid company, which owns shares in Cell C, those shares will be sold through a private placement to qualified investors. Cell C saying the listing will allow them to streamline their balance sheet and basically go from there. Confirmation the last hour from African Rainbow Minerals and Assor South Africa. They're placing the Beershoek iron ore coal mine on care and maintenance. ArcelorMittal is not taking their product. Arcelor confirming late yesterday the Newcastle factory remains closed. ARM says Beershoek was dependent on ArcelorMittal. It was the only customer, really. It also has a legacy infrastructure, and as a result of that, it's basically going to be closed. Italtile down 2.46%, Life Healthcare down 1.83%, and Barlow World down 1.12%. In the US, things looking a lot better than yesterday, actually. I mean, futures markets were suggesting that Wall Street would be down, but it's actually opening up. The Dow Jones is up 0.32, the Nasdaq is up 0.5%, the S&P 500 is up 0.28 at the moment. The gold price, $3,975.40. Platinum, $1,540.20. Brent crude, $64.26 a barrel. And the rand to the dollar, 17.43 to the euro, 20.01 to the British pound, 22.72. On the Money Show tonight, John, we'll speak to Egil Orved, one of the co-owners of LLH Capital. They did well out of Optasia. They're looking at starting an African AI fund. We'll talk to them about where the future lies. We'll also speak to the International Trade Administration Commissioner, Ayabonga Kawe. He's a good person, John. I say this because he used to work in radio at one point in his career. We'll speak to the Commissioner about scrap metal. They want to ban the sale of scrap metal in cash. How on earth do you do that? First question, obviously, tonight on The Money Show. And then don't forget, from 7:30, your shapeshifter is the CEO at Sasria, the insurer of last resort, Mpumi Tikwe. Looking forward to that conversation as well. Stephen Crotus, EWN Business.
Thanks, Stephen. Lots coming up between 6 and 8. Coming up right now, the very latest Eyewitness News headlines. Here's Mbali Dlamini.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. Gauteng police have raised concern about reports that some officers are affiliated with gangs and may be interfering with crime prevention in Westbury. Residents say police are not doing enough to deal with gang-related violence in that area. In October, 7 teenagers were shot, with 2 being killed in what is believed to have been gang and drug-related conflict. Today, community leaders, religious organizations and residents gathered at the Westbury Recreational Centre to discuss issues they faced with daily. Jabulile Mbata reports.
Gauteng police say Westbury forms part of 8 areas where anti-gang units have been deployed. Police spokesperson Brenda Muridili says the recent shooting, which left 2 people dead, was as a result of a fight over drug territory. While 5 people aged between 17 and 35 have been arrested for the double murder, she adds that they are concerned about alleged police interference.
Even when a case is reported and it is deemed to be related to gangsterism, that case is not investigated, not being investigated at station level. It is being investigated at provincial level.
She added that the police raids are kept secret to avoid gangs being informed about when they're happening. Jabulile Mbata, Eyewitness News, Westbury.
Wage negotiations are continuing between FlySefe and the Cabin Crew Association. The union represents 65% of the airline's 800 cabin crew staff. The staff has been complaining about salary issues and also complaining about working conditions. Cabin Crew Association President Christopher Shabangu says they accepted FlySefe's offer of a 5.7% salary increase and monthly allowances earlier this week, but shortly before signing, they discovered clauses had been included without them being consulted.
There's nothing really much to talk about because we have agreed on their offer. All they have to do is take out one item that was not negotiated. That's all. Or at least if they want to negotiate it, we are open to it. But not only are we not on strike, we don't want to go on a strike. We're not interested in going on a strike. We want to accept their deal. We have accepted their deal. SAFE should just act with dignity, that's all.
The parties are expected to meet again tomorrow. To this now, the ANC's reconfiguration in the Western Cape has claimed its first high-profile defection. The party's former provincial secretary Neville Delport has now joined the DA. He and 3 others were welcomed to the party by Federal Council chairperson Helen Zille today. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
Neville Delport was elected to the ANC's provincial leadership in the Western Cape in 2023 after the party had been under an interim leadership for 4 years. But after just 2 years, the ANC's national executive once again disbanded the province's elected leadership last week. Delport, who led the party's Rural for Change movement ahead of last year's elections, believes the so-called reconfiguration is factional politics at play.
This is just the beginning of ANC councillors, especially in rural regions, that will defect to the DA as we develop a strategy in the Western Cape to make sure the DA remains the political party in charge of this province.
DA Federal Chairperson Helen Zille says Delport's job will be to mobilise support for the DA, particularly in rural municipalities. 2 by-elections will now also have to take place after the defection of 2 former ANC ward councillors. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
And in Australia, critics who have raised concerns over data privacy have welcomed a decision to ban Reddit for children under the age of 16. They say delaying children's access to social media accounts gives them valuable time to learn without harmful algorithms. Federal Communications Minister Anika Wells says the online platforms can target children and the ban is for the sole purpose of protecting those 16 years and younger. The ban begins next month, but it's still unclear how companies will be implementing it. A cloudy Thursday in store for Gauteng tomorrow with morning fog patches and afternoon thundershowers. Lows of 15 degrees across the province and highs of between 25 and 27.
Bryanston, we still have traffic congestion. This is on the N1 southbound between Rivonia Road and Winnie Mandela Drive. Also in the Calvin Alex area, roadwork still causing about a 30-minute delay. N3 south between the Between to Change and London Road. Bedford View traffic also heavily backed up. N3 south between Linksfield Road and Van Buren.
The top story in EWN, Gauteng police have raised concern about reports that some officers are affiliated with gangs and may be interfering with crime prevention in Westbury.
For generations, the world has spoken about Africa.
More needs to be done to ensure that the prosperity is broadly shared.
Now, for the first time, the world's leaders gather on African ground.
This summit's location underscores the need for African voices to be heard.
On the 22nd and 23rd of November, the G20 summit lands on our soil. A moment where South Africa doesn't just host the conversation, we help lead it.
The majority of the 54 nations
that now comprise Africa were never offered a seat at the table where plans for a new world order were being drawn.
From solidarity and equality to food security, poverty, and climate justice, this is where Africa's voice rises, not as an echo, but as a force. And as history unfolds in real time, EWN 702 and Cape Talk bring you closer to every decision, every voice, every detail that shapes our future. Stay with us and stay connected to the story being written on home ground. On air, on the EWN app, and on primemediaplus.com.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for optometrists, surgeons, and other medical specialists. Here's Chrissy.
Business Outsurance is the best insurer for my business. They have great premiums, wonderful service. I know without a doubt that Outsurance has my back, and you always get something out with Outsurance.
Switch to Business Outsurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Betway's exclusive new games are taking the world by storm. Featuring massive Megaways jackpots. Take your shot on Cash and Riches, Wolf Blaze, Gallo Gold Brunos, and many more incredible experiences for you to choose from. You're guaranteed to find a new ultra fun favorite. Get way more only at Betway. Betway is licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No persons under the age of 18 are permitted to gamble. NRGP counseling line 0800 006 008. All events are fixed odds betting games.
Who says everyday driving can't be très chic? Rent premium with Sani Sixt now. Own the stylish Citroen C3 later. Yes, that's 3 cars, 3 months, 3 chances to say ooh la la. Just book directly on sani.co.za. Call us or rent at any branch between 1 November and 31 January, and you're automatically entered into the draw. Bon voyage with Sani Sixt and win. T's and C's apply.
The G20 Summit coming to Johannesburg is a stepping stone towards a brighter future for the city. Josie My Josie has launched the Babize Bonke campaign to shine a spotlight on some of the extraordinary champions who are reshaping Johannesburg from the ground up.
My name is Grant Nwobo. When Kalanje first opened, I was 14 years old and worked my way up, and now I lead the organization at the age of 27. From the 51st floor of Ponte, we run inner city tours and community centers at the bottom, challenging stereotypes about Hillbrow, Berea, and Yuval.
Josie My Josie is making the invisible visible, giving the voiceless a voice. It's a movement for the people, by the people, creating a city that we can proudly call Josie My Josie. Come see how Josie does it. A city that's alive, ready, and rising. Prime Media and 702 are proud sponsors of Josie My Josie.
Josie My Josie, Babize Bonke champion Grant Nwobo will be interviewed on Weekend Breakfast with Gugs Mhlungu just after 8 a.m. on Sunday morning. Don't miss it.
EWN Sport.
Betway Premiership matches this evening. The champions in action. Tolakele Mganga has the story.
Thanks so much, John. And Mamelodi Sundowns will look to return to winning ways when they host TS Galaxy in one of 4 league encounters this evening. Bafana Bastille have been inconsistent over the last few weeks, having won just 2 of their last 5 league games. And Keanu Cupido is wary of complacency against a Rocket side who are 7th in the standings.
TX Galaxy is a team that want to play on the break, so their 2 wingers are very good actually, young and quick as well, so we know they rely more on them. We know that we have to stop them, then we know the game will be much easier for us. Sanawanas came out this past weekend, we felt their support. Just want to say thank you for being there with us throughout the game, from the warm-up actually until the end of the game where we had to sing together. I want to say thank you to you guys.
Match day 4 in the UEFA Champions League tonight will see Chelsea up against Karabag, while Borussia Dortmund clash with Manchester City. Pep Guardiola has shared his thoughts on City's title chances this campaign.
It's not about we are prepared in the new format or not. Last season we were injured. 50% of the squad was injured during month and month. and especially in that period, what defined the Champions League qualifier, because there are a lot of games. So that was the reason why. Of course, we are prepared for that format, for the old one.
Serbian club FK Radniki 1923 have confirmed the tragic passing of their coach Mladen Zizovic while the team was playing a league game on Monday. Zizovic was only appointed 2 weeks ago and suffered a heart attack in the 22nd minute of the encounter and was rushed to hospital, having received emergency medical assistance on the pitch. His players continued with the game for another 20 minutes, but it was later abandoned after television footage showed players and staff reacting and breaking into tears upon learning the news of Zizovic's death. Over to cricket, where Proteas all-rounder Kurban Bosch believes they have enough in their arsenal to level their series against Pakistan. That's when they clash in the second ODI tomorrow. South Africa will be looking for an immediate response after suffering a 2-wicket defeat with 2 balls remaining in yesterday's opening clash.
I think we have an incredible team here. We've got fantastic bowlers. We have world-class players that have played all over the world. So, as I said, I think I've been obviously playing nicely at the moment, but credits due, I think all the guys are working hard and we're not far away from putting a really, really good performance as a bowling unit. We have top-class spinners, we have top-class seamers, and we have top-class batters. So I think we're not far off from really giving Pakistan a good run.
And Rishabh Pant will return to India's squad for the upcoming Test series against South Africa, having missed the home clashes against the West Indies as he recovered from a foot fracture. The 2 Test series begins on the 14th of November in Kolkata, with the second match to be played in Guwahati, which is the first time the city will ever host a Test. Tholakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
17 minutes now to 6. EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS OUT to 45142 now, and you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Out onto the roads we go. If it was the roads of Bryanston we were on, we might be going a little bit slowly, Karabo Charlie.
Yeah, 2 issues in the Bryanston area. There's traffic congestion on the N1 South. This is between Rivonia Road and Winnie Mandela Drive. Also in the poles of Bryanston area, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is on Witkoppen Road between Main and Stonehaven. In the Calvin Alex area, roadwork still causing about a 20-minute delay. This is M3, N3 southbound between the Petru Interchange and London Road. Bedford View traffic remains heavily backed up. N3 South, this is from Linksfield Road to Van Buren. In Edenvale, traffic sluggish on the R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Gilulis Interchange, while in the Joburg CBD, expect some delays. M2 westbound from Heidelberg Road to the Crown Interchange. Also driving through the Joburg CBD heading towards Boyson's, traffic pressure in Parktown. M1 South between Killarney Benz and the Crown Interchange. And finally in Irene, traffic remains sluggish on Main Road approaching Nelmay Pierce Drive. I'll have your next Eyewitness News traffic update just after 6.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. Like a businesswoman on the way to the airport after sleeping through her alarm. Bags in the back, boarding pass on the dashboard. She prays she'll make her flight.
Hope I make it.
The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's the potential closing of a big deal. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005. In proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
5:45, just one more on places that people ought to go and see in South Africa and that you could perhaps urge tourists to visit. Francois sends us this. You have to check out the Vaal River, especially Millionaire's Bend. It's one of South Africa's hidden gems that not many people know about. Sunsets are absolutely breathtaking. He says, and there are amazing Airbnbs right on the riverside, literally steps from the water. He finishes, it's a full-on vibe with boats, jet skis, and water sports everywhere. And for those who don't own a boat, there are plenty of river and sunset cruises you can hop on. It's spectacular, peaceful, yet full of energy at the same time. We'll do more about this. I want to keep highlighting places in South Africa that some people might not know about. 14 minutes to 6.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
Okay, now, yesterday we were asking about songs about heroes and superheroes, and we got some lovely inputs, including this one, which I'm going to share with you again because it's become the basis for today's music theme on 702 Drive. Claire in Boksburg sent us this. She referred to the song Search for the Hero by M People and said, my mom would play it for me when I was doubting myself as a teenager. So while we're listening briefly to that song, because we did play it yesterday, I want you to think about a song that somebody else shared with you as a way of boosting you in some way. So maybe inspiration for you before you tackle the Comrades Marathon, or consolation for you after you'd suffered some loss, perhaps a breakup or a death in the family. In other words, ways in which people close to you, or even complete strangers for that matter, use music to convey to you something that would help you feel better, stronger, more positive in whatever way. Claire got it from this song. Here's M People. So that's Claire's story. We enjoyed it yesterday and we're using it again today. But Karabo Chali, I put that question to you and you've got a song and a story.
Yeah, well, it's from a movie, not particularly a person.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's from the movie Lean On Me.
Yes.
I don't know, I was just going through a rough patch and stuff like that. And then I realized I'm not the only one going through a tough time. And this one just, said we can be together. We can lean on each other's shoulders and make each other feel better. So, yeah, every time I listen to this song, I kind of feel like, it's not all that bad. There's always somebody that I can lean on.
Yeah, it's a movie, Morgan Freeman, the best-known actor in that. And, of course, the song, the soothing voice of Bill Withers, who could just make you feel better in all sorts of ways, almost irrespective of what he sings. But this is a lovely one. Here's Bill.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong.
Yeah, what a wonderful voice. What a great song, all the way back from 1972, but still reverberating in so many people's lives. So your song, the one that either you share with other people or maybe people have shared with you at a moment that was challenging, difficult, heartbreaking. Let's hear not just your song choice, but a little bit of the story as well, please. Send it to 072 702 1702. We'll play those in a moment.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
Stuart James, why were you in Parliament? There is a lot of evidence pertaining to the cases that I'd opened surrounding the killings that the PKTT were investigating.
What is the price here that people are fighting for?
What they're fighting for is total control of SAPS. Whoever controls SAPS wields the biggest stick.
You emphasize General Khumalo, he knows me well.
He knows me well. There's a lot of murders and there's a lot of people that have been protected by Lieutenant General Khumalo. We've got the evidence.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
What do partners of the Gates Foundation do when facing the world's toughest challenges? They keep going. From discovering a plastic drape that helps detect excessive postpartum bleeding faster, to developing better bed nets to kill malaria-carrying mosquitoes, to researching an RSV vaccine that could save hundreds of thousands of children. For every problem, there are people who prove that progress is possible. The Gates Foundation, partners of human potential. Learn more at gatesfoundation.org/keep going.
Steve from Momentum, hello.
How's it, But? It's Jason here, your favorite gymfluencer.
Jason, still lifting more than your selfie stick?
Always, But. Gotta stay shredded, eh? But, I'm worried about one thing. What if a major illness hits? Who's got my back?
Relax, Jason. Momentum's critical illness cover is your spotter. It offers the most comprehensive cover in the market.
Buddy, I'm signing up faster than I could do 10 reps. But I'm worried about something else, eh?
Let me guess. How many protein shakes it takes before you turn into the incredible bulk?
No, man. Will anyone notice if I skip a leg day?
Chat to your financial advisor about Momentum's critical illness cover. Momentum, protecting your journey to success. Momentum is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
When it comes to protecting your workforce, trust the workwear brand that has been protecting workers for over 150 years, Sweetall. Sweetall has overalls and uniform solutions for every industry, so your team is safe, comfortable, and ready to tackle any challenge. Visit our new Boksburg showroom, shop A1 Atlas Road, Westwood, Boksburg, or go to sweetall.com today. Sweetall, we never let you down. Superior protective workwear since 1871.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
Songs that other people have shared with you as a way of just giving you a boost or some consolation or whatever it might be. I wasn't expecting this one. This goes back to when I was, never mind, a teen. Very, very much in short pants. This is from Mel, who says, my late dad used to play the single from the Archies, Sugar Sugar, when I was having a rough time in a new country, a new high school, and a new language. Thanks, Mel. The Archies.
Sugar.
Yeah, I must say, if I'd made a list of possible songs people might come up with, wonderful story, Mel. I would have to admit, though, Sugar Sugar, much as I enjoyed hearing it, wouldn't have been on that list. Let's go to your voice notes, 072-702-1702 for yours.
Hi, John. My song choice would be He Still Loves Me from the Fighting Temptations. My late sister used to love this song, and she once told me a story that, every time I'm down, I'll play this song and I find myself motivated again, or I find myself feeling better. And ever since she passed, I do the same. So He Still Loves Me from the Fighting Temptations. Chivas in Boksburg.
Make it crystal clear. See, I've been picked out to be picked on. Talked about out my friend's mouth. I've been beat down till he turned my life around. Seems like I always fall short of being worthy. 'Cause I ain't good enough, but he still loves me. I ain't no superstar. The spotlight ain't shining on me. No. 'Cause I ain't good enough.
He Still Loves Me, the movie, The Fighting Temptations, and two fabulous voices involved in that production. Beyonce on the one hand, and Walter Williams Sr., who many of you will know from the OJs. Songs that either people have shared with you or you've shared with other people. Songs that you regard as inspiring or soothing. Sherwin says, my soothing song is, where did you go, Sherwin? Where did you go? Here we go. You Will Know by Stevie Wonder. Raymond, after surviving COVID, Alive and Kicking by Simple Minds is my song. Surviving COVID, eh? What a thing that was. A great song for a retrospective view of one's life and growth. Greg says, Built from Broken by Georgia Phantom. I do not know that. Onto the list that I assemble every time we speak. It goes. And this one from Ranky, who says, my friend would play Count on Me by Whitney Houston and BB Winans. Okay, we got another one.
Afternoon, John and team, Sheldon and Pretoria. Sounds of Darkness, Optimistic. Yeah, it's helping me go. I'm currently going through a bit of a difficult patch. I wake up with it, I sleep with it. Just says, keep your eyes to the sky. Yeah, definitely helping. Nice one. Thanks, John.
702, good afternoon. Paul in Randfontein. My kind of song that was shared to with me when as well I was going through a bad patch was Clown by Emily Sunday. Yeah, it had a very, very, very profound meaning, and it helped me to get through what I was going through. Emily Sunday's Clown. Good show as always.
I guess it's funnier from where you're standing, 'cause from over here I miss the joke. Clear the way for my crash landing. I've done it again. Another number for your notes. I'd be smiling if I wasn't so desperate.
Emily Sunday, Clown, a song from 2012, but still with the power to help people through a difficult time. And just to say, don't know what's going on, you don't need to tell us, but I just hope it gets better day by day, I guess, is how we measure these things. Tar says, this song picks me up on my gloomy long day. Snap, I've got the power. Tar says, 'cause I'm a champ.
Hi, John. This is Tibello from Rodipot. My song that I would choose for today or this evening is Michael Bolton, When I'm Back on My Feet Again. I used to play this song. I remember the last time when I was retrenched. You know, it was difficult. It was difficult, and yeah, this song just gave me hope. And yeah, it's one of the songs that I turn to, you know, in difficult times. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Gonna break these chains around me. Gonna learn to fly again. Maybe hard, but I'll do it. When I'm back on my feet again. Soon these tears.
Michael Bolton bringing to an end today's edition of 702 Drive. I'm John Perlman. Have a great day.
And now, The Money Show.
With Stephen Grootes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
And DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA CIB, advancing Red Rocket's ambitions with Discovery Green as the off-taker to power Africa's future through affordable, renewable energy. Good evening. On your Money Show tonight, ITAC wants to make it illegal to buy scrap steel for cash. We speak to Gil Oved about